WIIFTBPM. WIIFTBP. Media's just for you and me. WIIFTBP. Media's just for you and me.
Shop at Black-owned and operated Solo Beauty, where you are appreciated and respected. Located at 8158 South Cottage Grove, Solo Beauty can supply all of your black hair care needs. Solo Beauty is open from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m., Tuesday through Saturday.
Ladies Jackson.
If you could make up a social media holiday, what would it be?
Randy said National Don't Let No One Put You Down Day.
No one. What you gonna do? So when they say something crazy, you slap them?
Be like, man, he said. Randy said a Jukathon Day.
Man, we're about 60 years old. I be done had a heart
You gotta
attack.
get your heart rate up.
Okay, not that far.
All right, Mario said my favorite one. My friends and I do what we call National Call Off from Work Day.
As a business owner, I don't.
You don't like that, yeah.
I don't like that.
Because I'm the boss of this thing.
We got Marcus Garvey Day from Remy too.
Oh, Marcus Garvey Day. All right, what will we do on Marcus Garvey Day?
Call off from work.
I'm going to need you to go ahead and come in tomorrow. That would be great. Okay?
Yeah, right.
Every black holiday has something to do with calling off from work.
You're cool. I'm out.
How about National Join a Positive Black Organization Day? Because I don't want to be recruited. I don't want to be recruited and the brothers be like, thank you. Thank you. How about National Tell White People the Truth Day? Tell them how you really feel.
You can't handle the truth.
Why don't we call that National Black People Get Locked Up Day?
I'm going to tell them there's an African-American man threatening my life.
Hello.
The most dangerous show in the morning.
Now the sky's good for very small, 'cause nothing even matters at all. Nothing even matters. Nothing even matters at all. Nothing even matters. Nothing even
See, I don't need no alcohol. Your love makes me feel 10 feet tall. Without it, I go through withdrawal. 'Cause nothing even matters at all. Nothing even matters. Nothing even matters. Nothing even matters. Nothing even
These buildings can drift out to sea, a natural catastrophe, but there's no place I'd rather be, 'cause nothing even matters to me. Nothing even matters. Nothing even matters. Nothing even matters.
You're part of my identity. I sometimes have a tendency to look at you religiously. Yeah, but nothing even matters to me.
Nothing even matters. Nothing even matters. Nothing even matters. You won't find me at no store. I have no time for manicures. With you it's never either or. 'Cause nothing even matters. Nothing even matters. Nothing even matters at all. Nothing even Nothing even matters.
Now my team could score and make it to the Final Four. Just repossess me 4x4. Yeah, 'cause nothing even matters no more. Nothing even matters, yeah, yeah. Nothing but you. Nothing but you. Boo.
and you keep calling it. Give you some love and you want all of it. I'm out here working, nigga, get a grip. I'm just trying to touch a million, you just wanna coexist. I say you clingy and you contradict. Give you my heart, you think it's counterfeit. Give you my word and you won't trust in it. What's the point of loving me if you don't know what trust is? I need the is you give now. Please don't back down on me. I know you've got the attention I need. Put your pride aside for me. Oh, 'cause I need that ease. Put your pride aside for me. That ease. While I'm out trying to get that ease, know that I need that ease. Put your pride aside for me, baby. You're insecure, it's driving me crazy. I'm trying to get it and you keep on saying, all my love is never enough. I put up with you for too long, now I'm over it. You want affection, I need money, I'ma call it quits. That ease, that ease, that ease. Put your pride aside for me. That ease. While I'm trying to get it, need it. That ease. Put your pride aside for me. Put it aside, put it aside, put it aside, put it aside, put it aside. Put your pride aside, put it aside. On me. Put your pride aside for me.
WIFTBPM.
You are listening to the most dangerous show in the morning. This is What's in It for the Black People Radio. Maze Jackson. Maze Jackson, the most vociferous advocate for black people in the world.
For Ruthie Moore, for Todd Stroger, I am the host of the Maze Jackson Show, asking every single day, what's in it for the black people? And if you don't like it, you can still tell them Maze said, Mayor Lightfoot, man, we ain't accepting that. We ain't accepting that. Let's go. Yeah. Let's get down to business and go ahead and address the facts, man. Lightfoot seems more lesbian than black. Rahm Emanuel's another case. He was just as tired. 50 closed schools left much to be desired. Police had Anjanette naked on that body cam. They suppressed the footage so it couldn't touch a lot of hands. Reminds me of that 16 shots in that cover-up. Both of them similar, so I went and dug it up. George Floyd killed, a lot of riots happened in the town. Southside burned and they wouldn't let them bridges down. Grandmother sick, need a prescription and plus a couple groceries. You gon' have to travel just to get it now. COVID-19 out here shutting all the business down. Not enough SBA loans to even give around. So many failed businesses that you can put them in the pile. If you don't survive the pandemic, it's gonna sit you down. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. Shout out to Willie Wilson, hope one day you get to send it. We need some different players in the game to handle business. Too many shady characters like Madigan and Blago. But when you really break it down, it's typical Chicago. City full of gangsters, it's what the land was built on. Same streets with hood legends, DNA gets spilled on. Carjackers out here lurking, trying to get they steel on. Looking for a block to put them Hellcat wheels on. Lenders give bogus appraisals a red line. Car crackers out here getting minimal fair time. And up to seal carry, I stay with the pipe. But Illinois gun laws giving minimal rights. Stay up on the swivel, make sure I'm moving tight. Check all of my mirrors when I pull up to the light. Pick my homie up from out of town, man, he caught a flight. He was hella nervous, told him, shorty, this a way of life. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks.
Wake up, Chicago! Wake up, world! This is the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. I'm trying to actually figure. I'm not exactly sure who is.
I've always thought that about you.
This suntanned dude is. This crispy. You know somebody has been somewhere when their bald spot is tan. Back in the studio with us, sitting in Ruthie's chair, is the one and only Todd Stroger. Todd.
First, I don't have a bald spot. But
Okay, well, let me say this. When the recession in your hairline, where your hairline used to be, is tan, let me not call it a bald spot. Let me just say where your hairline used to be. Hey, Todd. What's up, man? Where you been? Hey, dog. And first of all, I'm going to let you talk, and then I'm going to tell you, you can't be famous and hide. But go ahead. What's going on, Todd? What's up, man? Where you been?
Oh, we went to Cincinnati. We went to the tennis tournament out there. It rained a lot. Didn't see a lot of tennis. Had to come home a little early. Got run off the road by a truck.
Todd, that's not the first time you've been run off the road by a truck.
No. Last time, I got hit by a plastic barrel, and we spun off the road. That was different.
Okay,
but I survived them both, so I'm happy.
All right. Well, so tennis. So you went all the way out to Cincinnati for tennis. How long you been going for? Ain't no tennis tournament 2 weeks. No 2-week tennis tournament. And brother, it's a tennis tournament here in Chicago. Matter of fact, Venus Williams was here this weekend. Shout out to Cousin Juan, who is putting it down. But you know how come Cousin Juan don't never tell us about nothing until it's time after? You be seeing the post. It'd be like, get tickets. Nah, send us some tickets. Nah, if she can, she does. So, Todd, who did you see play?
Coco Golf.
Okay. Ain't she from here?
Chicago?
No, that's the other
so.
girl. That's the other one. I can't think of her name, but go ahead.
And we saw the black Frenchman, Agu Almier.
I thought that was Yannick Noah.
Yannick Noah is like older than me, man. So
dang, he's that. Oh, that's Jaquim's dad.
Right.
Okay. He was from French, right?
Yeah, he's from France. He
from
won the French Open, so he's like a hero. He probably doesn't have to pay for his meals down there.
Hey, man, they always forget you, man. Well, maybe not. Maybe not. You know how they do the brothers. All right, Todd, well, it's good to have you back, man. You were spotted. People sent me a picture. You had on a yellow polo.
Yes, we did.
Apparently, you were at the White Sox game, a whole family affair. I saw you there. People, is this the president? We found him, right? People was on the, because when people don't show up, they be like, "What did Maze do this time? What did Maze do this time? He probably."
Well, I heard Ruthie was on fire. I came to see if she was burnt to a crisp or if she was still
Nah, she set the mic on fire for the young people and then walked out the door. Then she said she'll be back, so she took the day off. So yeah, man. So she, when she come back, she'll be like, "You in my seat."
Well, that's right. I won't be here tomorrow because tomorrow
we
have a village meeting tomorrow.
You got a village, okay?
That day is long.
It's not that. Todd, welcome to reality of my life, man. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'd be like people be talking to me at like 2:00, like it's 2:00. I'd be like, no, it's 6:00 for me. But that's okay.
Man, I'm 8 years older than you, and you obviously don't know what I did in those 8 years.
I have a lot of jokes there. But
I'm sure you do, but none of them are funny.
I'm gonna leave it alone right there. I'm gonna say, what's up to my man who has been holding it down thick or thin, DJ Reese the Ruler. DJ Reese the Ruler, I see you got your smiley face on. Oh Lord, you working again today?
Nah, hey, I wish, but nah, man. You know I'm blessed by the best. You know the rest. Good to see you back, Todd. I was like,
thank you, sir.
I was like, who is knocking? I thought Ruthie was off today, and then I saw like, hey, look at Todd.
That's what I was like. Who is knocking? I was like, what? I mean, I was like, the
you
Bill
couldn't tell by that knock. Bam, bam.
No, that's why I really was like, who is it? Because, you know, you be like this.
I was like, did I book somebody?
Right. You know, because since you been gone, DJ been feeling the freedom to just book. He be booking co-hosts and all type of stuff.
My man.
Right? I was like, dang. DJ, so I'm going to tell the person who is one of the people who is watching, obviously someone likes their job because they got their work hat on today, even when they not working. So it's like, you know what, though? When I see the van, I'm not going to even lie, DJ. That is the van you're supposed to jump out of. Where all of the emojis and all of the, it's like that is the DJ van. Like you could actually, anyway.
Hey, this is not even my work hat. Like I actually bought this hat. With my work shirt. You know
I was like, go with you. See, but that's what I'm talking. That's dedication. See what I'm saying? DJ took it upon himself to go buy a hat to match his shirt.
That's cool.
Cause he liked to get, but you know what? I've heard very good things. Again, DJ, I've heard that you have the personality. So you know, Tennille said you could work today if you. Hold on, Tennille. How you just Tennille? Look, this is what happens when you enter into the Jackson Matrix and you demonstrate. Right then, it becomes a competition of. It becomes a competition, not even a bad competition, but it's like, hey man, if we find people who really want to work. Let me tell you what, there will be work.
Alpha men move forward. Because
they get hired by Sigmas. There you go. You know you're going to lose this battle every time. And we're still asking.
Never.
Yeah, because I know, you know, Ty, while you were gone, I went to Conclave. And while I was at Conclave, the first thing the international president says to me after he says, go mob, blue fire, his me with the dap is, did Ty get his... figure out his crossing day yet?
You know what I like about that, Reese, is the general president can't get me off his mind.
Right,
what an impression, right?
Sigma convention, and then they born.
Right, and I think it's about
Alpha. And the funniest joke we got is Todd Stroger. Yes, you have stolen the show. That is hilarious.
It's good to be an alpha.
All right, y'all. So look, Ruthie Moore is not going to be in today. So this is going to be interesting conversations. I got so much I want to talk to you about. So much has happened this weekend, but let's do this. We are locked and loaded. Let's get the soul plane up to 60,000 feet. We are up and away. Speaking of this plane, hey man, do not fly this plane anywhere near Afghanistan because I do not want people climbing on the wings, trying to take off. You know, and first of all, let me just tell everybody in Afghanistan who watches American movies, if you happen to be tuned into the Maze Jackson show, what you see on the movies is not real. You cannot, Tom Cruise can't hold on to no jet. No, seriously. Like, when anybody who thought, like, I was really thinking to myself, like, the people that were holding on as it was preparing to take off, I was thinking to myself, what are you thinking is going to happen to you? Do you think that once they get up to 20,000 feet, they're opening the door so everybody...
And you just walk in, yeah.
And you just...
No, that's not happening.
I've been holding on for a long time.
Man, I guess desperation is really something.
Yes, it is. Like, if it ain't that something. It ain't... Like, me falling...
You mean...
from 500 feet in the air?
You mean sure death?
Like, because ain't nobody catch you. Like, that's one of them ones where it's like, you trying to catch it? Nah, he not gonna make it.
You're not making it off the runway. You're gonna be just splattered somewhere.
Yeah. So I think Joe Biden botched this. I know we said we were gonna get out. At least they could have been like, you know, like you got to do the sneak attack, right? You gotta have collected all your stuff. You had to been moving it out for months, right? But on the low, like all the main stuff got to stay up. So it don't look like, but like all your desk drawers empty. You done swapped out the pictures, so at least if they don't be suspicious, the pictures that they take, you won't be mad. And by the time you ready to leave, you know, You don't get no notice. You just say, "Oh, I'm not coming back on the last."
Man, you're a black worker.
No, that's what black people like. They take everything, they plan it all out, and then they be like, and then they kind of, he needed to talk to some black people. Because they could have got him out of there and everybody would have been like, all right, dang, you know what? They sure was coming back to lunch on time every day. Because when you about to pull it, you try to act all normal, and then it's like you got to keep everybody in order until y'all pull it together. Have you ever all had a group quit? When you plan it, you plan we gonna show them, and then you just you don't say nothing till it's, and then it's like nothing nobody can do.
This is way off the tracks, but no, what you were saying. But
no, I'm serious. That's what they should have done.
What they should have done was they should have said, "Look, we are leaving. We're not leaving after the Taliban get here. We're leaving before." They should have, as you stated earlier, they should have started this 2 months ago.
Well, Todd, I'm gonna tell you, if you there now, Joe Biden said every American that wants to leave can. I was like,
if you can walk down the street and not get killed,
who wants to stay though? But he said they're using creative means to get people to the airport. Meaning you got to dress up. They had Todd walking around in a burqa.
Hey, I saw Argo. I just saw it maybe.
That was a
3
really
months
good
ago.
movie.
It was.
That was I was on the edge of my please take the plane off. Get the plane in the air. Please, please, please.
Yeah.
That Argo was good. I hate when I watch white movies and be like, save the white people. But it was good. It really was good. All right. So
it just showed you not white. It showed you America, where black people aren't really allowed in certain spaces. That's what it showed.
I'm also saying, if that would have been black folks, they would have been there. They would have just been.
Oh, they'd have been going a long time ago.
Sorry, you in the Taliban. 12% drop. This Afghanistan thing is causing a 12% drop in Joe Biden's polling. That combined with the reignition of COVID. Also, did you see Lieutenant Texas Governor Dan Patrick blamed COVID, the spread of COVID on blacks? No. Every time I hear that, though, I think of that.
Yeah.
No, he is the Lieutenant Governor of Texas, and he has blamed the new spread of COVID on black people. I told y'all I was going to have... Don't trip, your mayor did the same thing. These 5 zip codes...
Oh, right. That's right.
These 5 zip codes, she just didn't say black. She just said...
I'm not going to blame the spread, but statistically...
Okay, don't make... See,
I just happen to look at the statistics. I don't know why. Mm-hmm. And our areas are low. It's like, you start somewhere at about 40-something, and then you go down into the 30s.
The poor white people, though, don't trip.
Oh, no, I
it's way more poor white people.
I'm just talking about our area. I'm sure once we get outside of the city,
the poor white people are responsible for the spread. Don't get me started. We're not even finna go here. We're going to say that for a little later. How about this one? The Bears beat down. Dang, man. It's preseason. So I'm going to tell you, though, the one time we had a super bad preseason, we went 0-3, that's when we went to the playoffs. Actually,
really?
When the first Mitch Trubisky season, it was... If you Mitch, was you talking smack?
No, he's not. He doesn't seem like that guy.
Yeah, I'm gonna just tell y'all taking the fun out of sports. I really am gonna say this. We're gonna talk about this because Todd, did you see? Speaking of beatdowns, did you see the SHA'CARRI Richardson? Right. Well, it really wasn't the SHA'CARRI Richardson. Right?
I didn't see it, but I did read some of your Facebook posting, so and comments after from others.
So we're gonna talk about that today because I like I got a couple different storylines we're gonna do on this SHA'CARRI thing. One, how did she become like the hero? Right? Because I think black people love the black anti-hero.
I think that's true.
I think we love
good or bad.
Yes, we like the black anti-hero, and it's like we often, because we accept people really how they are, like honestly deep down inside of us we do. I think we take these tragically flawed candidates and push them to the forefront with the hopes that one day people will see them through the same lenses that we do, everyone else. And I think that is the summation of SHA'CARRI Richardson. the phenomenon, because I don't know nobody who knows track except for 3 times a year, unless there's some dynamic person that explodes, right? Like we know Usain Bolt, right? We know Carl Lewis, we know
Michael Johnson,
Michael Johnson, we know Ben, whatever his
Johnson.
name is, until he did the steroids.
Right.
So we're gonna talk about all that. Let me do this though for DJ Restart writing on that piece of pad. Let me welcome everybody from look, he putting it down. WBGX 1570 AM. We want to thank you all for joining us. Hey Todd, you know, every day from 6:30 to 8 a.m. Excuse me, 6:30 a.m.
when I'll be leaving.
8 a.m. Okay, from 6:30 to 8 a.m. We talk to our WBGX 1570 AM live audience. Now, you guys don't have to wait until 6:30. You can also join us on Facebook Live on the Maze Jackson page, or on YouTube on the Maze Jackson channel, Twitch and Twitter on Wiftaba channel.
Dang, I waited too late. I had some choice curse words, but now I can't use them.
Curse words, just let them roll. Remember that song by
God,
Too Short?
no.
You almost got it, right? He was like, curse words, just let them roll.
This reminds me of what you just said about anti-heroes and black people. I was, for some odd reason, this was going through my mind last week, and that's your generation. No, your generation and up. I mean, I'll turn on Stevie Wonder. I'm like, wow, this is great. But, you know, when you're 60, how do you turn on NWA or Eazy-E and like, yeah, I want to hear something about boobs and boobs?
It's funny you say that, because I was Untitled this weekend, and I was listening to some of my
I'm sorry, what's that mean?
Tidal? It's an app. It's Jay-Z's music app. It's similar to iTunes, etc. Right?
Oh.
And I was listening to the infamous by Mobb Deep. And I mean, it really took me back in the words, and I mean, literally took me through a couple shootings, few murders, some setups, and I really enjoyed every minute of it.
Oh no!
But it was weird because my son was looking at me like, and you said what about who? Right? I was listening to early Jay-Z. Yeah, Joe. I mean, it is, and I gotta say, listening now, I hear it much differently. I mean, I still know all the words, and I'm catching back up to the words. But I do say that I guess I just don't like the beat to which these young mumble rappers do now, because they really are saying, we did say a lot of, I could clearly see the children of this music birthing the music that we listen to now. It's just the beats that I don't particularly care for, maybe. Because we really did kill the world. It's the Maze Jackson Show. We're going to talk about this after we take a little news, traffic, and weather. And then we're gonna finish up the headlines, and then I want to get to the social media question of the day. It's the Maze Jackson Show. Maze, Todd, and DJ Reese the Ruler in the building.
The Maze Jackson Show will be back after this break.
WIIFTV PM.
Chicago's Power Hour. I'm your host, Angie Mims, and
Terrence Keys, TD, a.k.a. Terrence Daniels.
I wish I had one witness in the house.
You got one. You got a couple of them. Got two T's.
Give me a testimony.
Oh, Lord. He's did it before. Oh, Lord.
I got one. Better. I got 5 reasons.
5 reasons. Oh, Lord. He turned it around.
Turn it around. He woke me up this morning.
Oh. Don't do this. Don't do this. Number 4?
He woke me up this morning.
Come on, number 3.
He woke me up.
Oh, Lord.
He woke you up.
That thing can touch you. One of them 5s will get you. What's the second one?
He
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, my God.
And the number 1 reason.
Number 1. Final answer.
He woke me up this morning.
He woke me up this morning.
That's a testimony.
That's a testimony.
You sure looking good tonight, baby. I just wanna,
Ooh, baby.
I just wanna make sweet love to you tonight, baby.
Come on.
If you don't mind, you know.
Whoa, whoa.
Let me tell you.
Hey there, sexy lady of my dreams. Can I have you here with me? I just wanna love you down. Yeah. Making you scream my name. Oh. Loving your body. I'll be kissing your body. And I'll be caressing your body. Oh, baby. Just come on. Loving your body. I'll be loving, feeling your body. And I'm gonna touching your body all night, baby. Now I'm about to fulfill your fantasy. So come a little closer, bring your body to me. I'm trying to take my time, I won't rush at all, 'cause you deserve the best. I'm gonna love, I'm gonna kissing your body until the morning comes. Oh, baby, just come on. Loving your body. And let me feel your body. And I just wanna touching your body. If you don't mind, baby, let me love. Loving your body. I just wanna kissing your body. Don't stop me, baby. Kissing your body. Oh, baby, baby. Come on. And let me feel your body. Please, baby. Touching your body. Baby, 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 baby. La, 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 la. Oh, baby. Please, please. Oh, please, baby. We're gonna get it on. Tonight, let's get it on. Get it on. I want love. Kissing your body. All night, baby. Kissing your body. Oh, baby. Don't stop, no. Loving your body. Just let me love. Feeling your body. I just wanna touch your body. You all night long. Come on.
And now, traffic and weather.
Good morning. What's in it for the Black People Media family? The time is now 6:38 a.m. and I am Rich the Ruler with your Chicagoland area sports, traffic, and weather report. Well, in sports today, the Chicago Cubs hosted the Kansas City Royals yesterday. Kansas City Royals Carlos Hernandez will strike out 8 Cubs and complete the weekend sweep as the Cubs will lose 9-1. The Chicago White Sox in Tampa Bay taking on the AL East leading Rays. Rays will use a strong bullpen as 5 pitchers would shut out the Sox 9-0. Now on the traffic on the Kennedy, O'Hare to the Loop is 20 minutes. Outbound to O'Hare is 27. On the Eden inbound from Deerfield to Exchange is 30 minutes. Exchange to Deerfield will be 26. On the Eisenhower, Thorndale to the Loop is 35. Back out to Thorndale will be 29. On the Stevenson from I-355 to the Dan Ryan is 31, outbound just 30. Bishop Ford, I-80 to the Dan Ryan is 34 minutes, 28 minutes back out to I-80. The Dan Ryan is 17 minutes to the Loop and 15 minutes to 95th. DeSable Lakeshore Drive on the south side of things is 7 minutes, that's 55th to Jackson and Jackson to 55th. On the north side of things is 8 minutes, Bryn Mawr to Randolph and Randolph to Bryn Mawr. Today's weather, it is currently 70 and mostly sunny. Expect a high of 88 with a low of 70. I'm Reach the Ruler now, back to the Mays Jackson Show.
Back to the Mays Jackson Show. You are listening to the most dangerous show in the morning. This is What's in It for the Black People Radio. Mays Jackson. Mays Jackson, the most vociferous advocate for black people in the world.
Yeah.
the black people, cause economically we are not equal. Waking up to lies, can't doze no more. I told y'all, yeah, this is a dangerous show. Don't go to church if you ain't trying to help us. Don't even try to be around and can't protect us. We see the lies, not other politicians. We need money and no symbolism. It's Maze, it's Sonia, and Ruthie, and Todd, explaining how we all come from God, giving us tools to beat the odds. If we're united, our movement gon' stop. If they ain't trying to help us, they ain't trying to do nothing. We gotta do something, we gotta stop running. It's time to confront the problem. Really, you expect your oppressed to solve on.
Wake up, Chicago! Wake up, world! This is the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my co-host, sometimes, Todd Stroger in the building. Todd, hey man, it's funny. I keep thinking like you throw me off when you do this. Reese, I still ain't connected. Let's try one more time. I'm still going through my headlines, Todd. You know what I did this weekend? I went out to dinner on Friday night. Hung out with our buddy.
Yeah, what'd you eat?
I ate some, what do you call it? Is it Wagyu? I ate some Wagyu sliders. Yeah, it was something else.
You've had that before, right?
Yeah, I've had it before, but I must tell you, it was really something else. And I had some lamb chops.
What do you like that? I know you kind of like the fatty type thing.
Yeah, it was very. I don't think it was it was because I had sliders.
Mm-hmm.
So it was made right where it wasn't like overwhelming.
Uh-huh.
Right, so it was really good. But actually, man, it was crazy. We were sitting on the roof and we were looking west. And I saw the vision of the new downtown.
Mm.
It was really crazy because it's like from Halsted to Ashland. Seems like, Todd, it's going to be a whole new world out there at a certain point. And it's really crazy to me to watch people, watch us as we see this happening, like the gentrification. It's like the gentrification, but it's like I really feel like I just got to figure out a way to participate.
I hear you. That's the way it should be.
It's like we got to participate, like not move out, but move around in the mix of it.
Mm-hmm.
Then I went to the Grand Lodge.
Before you say that, you still have that building? The one you were talking about before?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, sometimes I think, if you can't do it yourself, you need to get some partners to do it.
Well, let me know if you know some.
I'll try to find some because I ain't one.
I went out to the most worshipful Prince Hall Grand Lodge of Illinois on Saturday morning for
the prostate
walk.
I'm glad you got that together because I was supposed to do it and I dropped the ball.
Oh, okay. So I went live from there. Really it was a good time. I had a good time moving around, saying what's up to the brothers. Then also went over to Rep Nichols had his grand opening of his office on 85th and Cicero. So, he was the newly appointed state rep over in the 32nd. Replaced Andre Tapetti.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Okay, so went over there. He was on the show. Then I also went to my buddies. The Twins had their annual cookout back. Then we had the basketball open run. I also went out to breakfast on Saturday morning, and I had the interesting conversation. I was having breakfast with one of my friends. And,
what'd you eat? That's the most important thing to me.
Actually, Todd, I had a croissant with Virginia ham and eggs over medium, all with white cheddar cheese. And when I tell you that
sounds like
boy
Claire's meal. I think you picked everything Claire likes.
That was unbelievable. Unbelievable. I went to the breakfast house. Like, the white, it was funny though. So I'm at this place, and while I'm at the restaurant, when we're leaving, I'm with this talkative white guy, and he talks to everybody, right? And so, this white girl comes riding up on her bicycle, and sits down and starts, and she's locking up her chain, and he starts talking to her. I'm like, oh my God, she's probably gonna think we're trying to do something to her. I'm like, I'm nervous. I don't even say nothing. He's just talking away. She gets to talking to him. Turns out she thinks she's a Chicagoan because she's lived here for 13 years. She moved here from upstate New York. And how I was marveling over the West Loop. She was like, I don't like it. It just seems too gentrified. And I was like, where do you live now? Oh, on the Gold Coast. And I came here from upstate New York. But it turns out, like, he dang near got his son a job just talking to this lady rolling up on breakfast.
Wow.
Because she's at a boutique financial services firm. And it was really crazy because she rides up on this, literally like this $4,000 bicycle.
Oh.
And she's like, I don't have a car. I take public transportation. And we like, yeah, clearly you're from out of town. Because the people who take public transportation, like, if you don't have to take public transportation, she's like, I ride my bike. And my firm, we're with COVID now. And,
public transportation can sometimes mean I'm going from 5 blocks here, and it's all, gravy.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Mm-hmm.
But it was, the thing I'm saying about the whole thing is, she envisions herself as a Chicagoan. And I was thinking about it, and she was like, I've been here 13 years, and I've seen the whole city changing. What is Lori really doing for us? She just was like I am a Chicagoan. And both of us were I was just looking at her like, but you're not from Chicago, sis. And it just really reiterates how Chicago is. We are literally living through the morphing of Chicago. And because it's happening like at a glacial rate. And I think we saw it happen. It's like a melting glacier. And if you think about where black people were at Harold Washington, which is what we all look to, and you imagine us being a glacier.
Yeah.
Right? And at that time when Harold Washington, it was 1.6 million of us. Right? Now imagine at a high of 1.6 to now we're at 800,000. So imagine a glacier being half itself.
Dang, where'd all those people go?
But imagine you've lived through the exodus of literally half the black population. So we talk about this being the ADO's capital, but literally we've lost half of us in this time. And in that, presiding over that loss of half of us, almost everybody we know is still in it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, imagine, like, it's almost like, how I was telling the story about the lion, like the kitty cat that looks in the mirror and sees itself as a lion.
Yes.
And I feel like I talk about us from the position of being a lion, and everybody else like, your polar cap's done melted, Joe.
Right.
Y'all glacier is not, like, the water level is, and the water that's coming up is sinking us. It's like it's encroaching in our space. Like, I got a lot I want to talk about in this space because I think it really came to light when we talk about the fact that that there's 2 leading candidates to become the new superintendent, and both of them are Latino.
This doesn't surprise me.
Well, it didn't surprise us. Remember, if you go back when Janice Jackson got appointed, I said, remember, because I said she put Arnie in, the dude that everybody liked, Arnie Rivera, her number 2, and if she wouldn't have took him, he was in line to become the number 2. You had Miguel Del Valle now in charge of the school board, thus shepherding. We saw the exodus of Frank Clark, right? And the replacement of Frank Clark with, who was a black business, quote unquote, titan.
Right.
Who was closely aligned with Mayor Emanuel. And it's so crazy because I just can't believe how many of our people have been aligned with the pioneers of our demise. And even as they're architecting it, it's like I'm literally sitting here saying, like, dang, half our glacier has melted. And now they done turned on a blowtorch. And yeah, it's And it's now, and Todd is, and the myth of we're just moving to the, so how we used to be the largest black county, which we may still be the largest black county, but we're no longer, according to the census, the dominant minority even in the county.
Really, who is?
The Latinos.
Oh.
They've moved to 31. Right? And so, and us down.
Right.
Now think about this. And the largest, so we lost 9% population in the census, but we still went up by 1. The overall. So black folks lost 9%. So every time we lose points, somebody fills it in with Asians and Latinos.
Right.
Yo, cuz, what is the vision of Black Chicago now as not a super black minority? Where do we envision ourselves? Because it's like when all of these things and think about it. They're melting the polar caps, and then even as they're melting, we're not even at the base of wealth, so we're still gonna say an underclass, right? Like, think about this cannabis, and think about how they let people become billionaires. Now all the licenses, and by the way, if you have a cannabis license, if you are one of the black people that won and do not have the ability to I have capital. Let us help you keep black ownership. I understand the white boys are running around and they got all the time, but before you sell to the white boy, like what's so crazy to me is, and I'm gonna tell you, Todd, this is the craziest thing in life to me. I have had the same amount of money as white boys to put together my own group to go buy so we can stay. And you know who? And I can't get the Negroes
to look at you.
It's so crazy to me. What's so crazy to me, Todd, is we have a collaborative opportunity to create wealth and grow wealth and still be in it. And it's like, I can't do a straight deal with no Negroes.
Is your building in an area that would
that too, but that ain't what I'm trying to do. But I'm saying it could definitely be a growth facility.
Yeah, I'm just thinking that there are certain things that, besides money, that people add that makes more sense than just taking money.
Here's the problem, Todd. We don't know how to do right by each other. Like, you really, I'm going to tell you, it's very difficult to do a handshake deal with black folks when white folks is lurking. Because no matter how much money I could show, I still got to worry about somebody feeling like the white boy's money is greener.
Right.
It's unfreaking believable. I won't go into it, but this process has been probably... It's hard doing work with your people. It is.
Well, I told you when I was at the county, I joked with Brother Winbush. Come on, man, I want a cold drink. Let's go up north where they got some cold ice.
Man, well, I'm just telling you, it is unbelievable right now. Like, I'm just saying, like, and here's the thing, I want to do like legit business. Like, let's sign the papers. Let's make sure it's all legit. Let's get the lawyers. Let's do it right so that everything. If you are a black operator and you would like to be connected to capital, if you got a license, whether it's a grow, whether it's a dispensary, whether it's transportation, whether it is security, and you want to stay in the black space, because I know the multi-state operators are running around and they throwing off all the prices and all type of stuff. But we can still create win-win situations amongst each other. And it's just crazy to me when you got money and you can't spend it with black people. I will tell you, bird in the hand is worth two in the bush, family.
That's true.
And all they doing is stretching you out so that they can jack you in the long term. Because they all talking. And the funniest part is the white boys be talking, and they be talking about the Negroes, and everybody think they smart. And the same white boys be talking. They be like, he told you what? Oh no, we're not giving them that. Don't you give it to him.
Yeah, you're right. We don't understand as a group, unfortunately, which is surprising. Excuse me, surprising because we've had families and families with wealth and families who had business and all that kind of stuff. That if we as a group don't grab something and make it ours, that we tend to be left out of everything in the end.
Todd, and that's it's.
But you have to have a feel for the rest of the black people too. You know? I mean, I think that's one of the
because
problems.
the white boys do.
No, because I think that's one of the problems that people who are my age or in that stratosphere, whose parents had successful businesses, they would sell the business and go do their own thing, which no one can tell you what they were doing, but it left a void, and somebody who didn't look like us would fill the void.
Well,
you got to feel for the rest of the group. That's, I guess, what I mean.
Yeah, I'm a little torn up about this. Let me send a big shout out to Reverend Jesse Jackson and Sister Jacqueline Jackson, the whole Jackson family. Reverend Jackson, in case you did not know, was back in the hospital, diagnosed with COVID.
Yeah, I saw that.
After being a spokesperson for the vaccine, he had a breakthrough case. I think that a lot of times, what do they say? Familiarity breeds contempt. And sometimes in Chicago, I think we often underestimate the impact of Reverend Jackson. And I know he is oftentimes at the base of jokes, whether it's harmless or intend to be harmless or whatever. But I think that we have a national civil rights pioneer that actually lives amongst us.
Oh, yeah.
And I think, do you go to everywhere else, they he just got the highest award possible in France and all of those different things. And I just think you got an opportunity.
He's a world figure. Yeah.
So I just want to send out, some love and appreciation. Shout out to our sometimes office neighbor tenant, because Jonathan Jackson has an office in the building. You see him in the evenings as well. So shout out to the whole Jackson family. Much love to you and our prayers.
Yeah, he'd be the kind of guy like when you go somewhere else and you're in a cab and they say, "Do you know Jesse Jackson?"
Right. And then, and it's funny. 'Cause I remember one time I was out of town. I can't even tell the story. I'll tell you. Anyway, also, Ruthie jinxed Mayor Lightfoot last week. She said, remember when I said, what has Mayor Lightfoot done good? And she said, she managed the school reopenings back and she's getting the schools open. Well, I don't know if you saw, but CTU is using that word again. Impasse. Impasse. They are saying they do not want, and 22 aldermen, for short, have signed in a letter saying that they need to reconsider reopening schools. I think Ruthie just opened up a can of worms for the mayor that she does not really want to deal with.
Yeah, but the aldermen can't affect it, even if they did get to 26.
Yeah, I don't think they can, but I think it once again emboldens CTU to pass some sort of ordinance or float something in city council that's another torpedo to Mayor Lightfoot's boat. And so, again, if they have 26 aldermen plus then CTU, which is really like having 30 aldermen, she's got another problem on her hands. And I heard so I was talking to this, interestingly enough, I was talking to a white labor leader a couple weeks ago. And we were talking about the prospects of the mayor, and he was debating whether she would run again. I was like, yeah, but who would replace her? It's been weird. And he was like, if I were a betting man, Stacey Davis Gates would be the next mayor of Chicago.
That'd be interesting.
Well, the thing is, if CTU did put her up, it'd be kind of hard to beat her. It'd be kind of hard to beat CTU. Well, but that all plays into the CPS CEO pick. And we're going to talk about that today because, I think y'all might have to tune in to the show. Because where did I say I was going to do that at? I think I'm going to do that at, I'm going to do it next. Well, I'm going to do social media question of the day at 7 o'clock. So we're going to move that to 7. And then at 7 something, we're going to talk about when I saw the headline of the interim CEO and Peter Hernandez, and Jose Torres and Pedro Martinez being the 2 finalists for the CPS CEO job. Mm-hmm. Todd, I did a whole section of questions and things and thought process without even reading the article. And then after reading the article, it only made me have more questions, or it really not even more questions, but it made me say, really, it started to focus me on where do we fit, because this right here to me is the final, it's almost like the final nail in the black coffin of black power in Chicago for the future. And that's why I think we got to talk about this CPS CEO. But before that, I want to talk about SHA'CARRI Richardson, because I just think it's a lot to do. It's a lot to talk about in that, because, hey, man, I don't know what generation y'all come from, but Todd, we used to joan. Like, people used to joan. I think remember play the dozens.
I need to ask you, because I know something happened, but I don't know what she said.
So I'm going to show it. We're going to play it all, because I got it all. I clipped it up, chopped it up. We got it ready to go. So when we come back, we're going to talk about SHA'CARRI Richardson. And y'all need to quit, man, with y'all sensitivity. Like, this is ridiculous. She came in 9th. Like, when you come in 9th, if you came in 9th
that's fine.
On the street.
I could have come in 9th, right?
Right. Look, I can't do nothing. That's not my chosen sport. But y'all are really starting to take the fun out of sports and athletics and all of that with this over-analyzation of it. And then I'm going to also play, there was the one interview that we saw, and then there's the interview that we didn't see from SHA'CARRI Richardson that puts it all in perspective. But I want to talk about it all when we come back. It's the Maze Jackson Show. We'll be back.
The Maze Jackson Show will be back after this break.
WIFTDPM.
Broken screen? Crash system? Are you in need of spyware or virus removal from your computer? Well, contact RPC Computer Repair in South Shore and let us help you with all your computer repair services and print needs. Need office or print production services, copies, scans, fax, or even notary service? Then stop by and support RPC Computer Repair and Print Shop, located 1741 East 71st Street in the 71st Street corridor, newly revitalized South Shore areas, and let RPC be your one-stop shop, where we believe RPC is your PC. RPC Computer Repair is also a UPS access point where you can drop off and pick up your important packages. So let RPC be of service to you. Call RPC Computer Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. through 6 p.m. at 773-966-4457. That's 773-966-4457. Visit RPC at rpccomputeringinc.com for more information.
And now, traffic and weather.
Good morning. What's in it for the Black People Media family? The time is now 7:04 a.m. and I'm Reese the Ruler with your Chicagoland area sports, traffic, and weather update. Well, in sports, the Chicago Cubs was at Wrigley hosting the Kansas City Royals. Kansas City Royals Carlos Hernandez will strike out 8 Cubs to complete the weekend sweep, as the Cubs will lose 9-1. The Chicago White Sox in Tampa Bay taking on the AL East leading Rays. Rays will use a strong bullpen and shut the Sox out 9-0. Now over to traffic on the Kennedy. O'Hare to the Loop is now 29 minutes. Outbound to O'Hare is still 27. On the Eaton, from Deerfield to Exchange is 34 minutes. Exchange to Deerfield will be 27. The Eisenhower Thorndale to the Loop is up to 41. Back out to Thorndale is 34. On the Stevenson, I-355 to the Dan Ryan is 38. Outbound will be 32. On the Bishop Ford, I-80 to the Dan Ryan is 42 minutes. 28 minutes back out to I-80. On the Dan Ryan, 18 minutes to the Loop. 15 minutes back out to 95th. DuSable Lakeshore Drive South, 55th to Jackson is 7, as well as Jackson to 55th. On the north side of things, Randolph to Bryn Mawr is 8, as well as Bryn Mawr to Randolph. Today's weather, it is currently 70 and mostly sunny. Expect a high of 88 with a low of 70. Now here's Sparkle with Easy on What's in It for the Black People.
You see me, you see him, my best friend. He hold me down like ankles fighting the waves. A partner to my crime, yeah, I do time. Till I'm with you, I'll be counting the days. Yeah, ooh, been through so many things, but we always get through. Yeah, ooh, it ain't always perfect, but it's worth it. This is deeper than the surface. If I said I didn't love you, you would not know I've been frontin'. Wiped all my scars away like it was nothing. Took the parts of me I tried to hide to make them something, something. Like it was nothing. Ooh, somebody, baby. Ooh, you know you drive me crazy. Ooh, you give me peace of mind. Ooh, let me tell you why. You make it easy. Say, to take it easy. Say, feel so easy. Say, easy love. Say, to take it easy. Say, feel so easy. Say, easy love. I never thought that I would give it to you, but now I don't think it's the time. I won't do it. I think it's cause the way you talk to me. Know how to say it without making me feel little. You're gracious even when you pop off on me. When you get done, I got a little something to drop off on you. Because you earned it with the time you took to put it that way. You got me liking to get put in my place. If I said I didn't love you, you and I know I've been frontin'. Wiped all my scars away like it was nothing. Took the parts of me I tried to hide to make them something, something. Like it was nothing. Ooh, somebody, baby. Ooh, you know you drive me crazy. Ooh, you give me peace of mind. Ooh, let me tell you why. You make it easy. Say, to take it easy. Say, feel so easy. Say, easy to love. Easy, you make it easy. Say, to take it easy. Say, feel so easy. Say, easy to love. You make it easy. You make it easy. You make it easy.
WIFTV-PM.
Back to the Maze Jackson Show. You are listening to the most dangerous show in the morning. This is What's in It for the Black People Radio. Maze Jackson. Maze Jackson, the most vociferous advocate for black people in the world.
For Ruthie Moore, for Todd Stroger, I am the host of the Maze Jackson Show, asking every single day, what's in it for the black people? And if you don't like it, you can still tell them Maze said, Mayor Lightfoot, man, we ain't accepting that. We ain't accepting that. Let's go. Yeah. Let's get down to business and go ahead and address the facts, man. Lightfoot seems more lesbian than black. Rahm Emanuel's another case. He was just as tired. 50 closed schools left much to be desired. Police had Anjanette naked on that body cam. They suppressed the footage so it couldn't touch a lot of hands. Reminds me of that 16 shots in that cover-up. Both of them similar, so I went and dug it up. George Floyd killed, a lot of riots happened in the town. Southside burned and they wouldn't let them bridges down. Grandmother sick, need a prescription and plus a couple groceries. You gon' have to travel just to get it now. COVID-19 out here shutting all the business down. Not enough SBA loans to even give around. So many failed businesses that you can put them in the pile. If you don't survive the pandemic, it's gonna sit you down. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad, we got lactose. Still
Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. Shout out to Willie Wilson, hope one day you get to send it. We need some different players in the game to handle business. Too many shady characters like Madigan and Blotto. But when you really break it down, it's typical Chicago. City full of gangsters, it's what the land was built on. Same streets with hood legends, DNA gets spilled on. Carjackers out here lurking, trying to get they steal on. Looking for a block to put them Hellcat wheels on. Let this give bogus appraisals a red line. Car crackers out here getting minimal fair time. And I'm concealed carry, I stay with the pipe. But Illinois gun laws giving minimal rights. Stay up on the swivel, make sure I'm moving tight. Check all of my mirrors when I pull up to the light. Pick my homie up from out of town, man, he caught a flight. He was hella nervous, told him, shorty, this is a way of life. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks.
Wake up, Chicago! Wake up, world. This is the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my sometimes part-time in the building co-host, Todd Stroger, fresh back from the beaches of Cincinnati. Fresh. He laid out on the beaches. What was it? What kind of sand beaches they got? What color is the sand in Cincinnati, Todd?
You only got like 3 rivers in Cincinnati.
Do you camp out on them? Did you pitch your tent and
I don't know if they have sand. I don't like sand anyway. I'm not looking for sand.
Me either. I'm really like when we go to the beach, I'd be like, you can go over there. Right. I'm gonna sit right here by the pool.
Yeah.
It looks nice over there, but it's not always. I mean, it always looks good. The sand always looks good when they draw the little pictures and the ocean and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But like practically walking through it, stomping through it, kicking it off your shoes, getting it out your towel. God help you if it gets stuck
between your
somewhere.
toes.
Right. If it gets anywhere uncomfortable, it's just
yeah,
no sand.
Straight to the shower.
Right, straight to the shower. Do you shower on the beach when they have the beach showers?
You know, I don't go to the beach, right?
Or what? Do you shower at the pool before you get in the pool? Like, do you take?
I don't believe in pools. They're too cold.
Where do you go to the pool at, bro? Like,
if I go to the pool, it's because the kids want to get in and I'll stand around. Like Claire said, I don't need to learn how to swim. Hans will save me.
Hans might not be there.
Right.
Claire.
Well,
tell her Mazon knows how to swim.
She did learn how to swim.
Mazon knows how to swim too. All right, y'all.
She'll save him.
No. We still believe in traditional family values. He'll be the man that puts her over his shoulder and carries her out. Puts her down. He will not be a Chicago lifeguard, though.
Oh, right.
Based on what I've seen from being a Chicago lifeguard, that is not a job. Like
that used to be the gold standard, being a Chicago lifeguard.
Well, apparently for someone. All right, Todd. First of all, did you watch the race this weekend?
No.
And when I say the race, I'm talking about the Prefontaine Classic, which is typically held after the Olympics, and it's an opportunity for the people that participated in the Olympics, as well as those who didn't, to showcase their skills. It's one of the races on the circuit, the track circuit.
Which I believe Nike probably...
Nike...
That was a big kind of... Because it's Oregon. It's a Nike thing.
Ah, okay. So, yeah, everything... Nike owns
right.
Oregon.
They own the state.
That's why Oregon Ducks, even though they suck, have the best uniforms. They have a different...
No, actually, they are... very competitive in the big sports.
In Pac-10.
Yeah.
Pac-10. Pac-10 though. Like really, the Pac-10. Who do we really care about in the Pac-10?
The Pac-10 this year the Pac-10 actually was better than we thought.
Right. They actually won the NCAA. Shout out to Chris Smith from UCLA, whose father was a fighting Illini, whose son was drafted in the NBA this year.
Oh, who's his father? Larry Smith?
No, Sean Smith.
Well, I don't think I remember him.
He's a Mendel Monarch. He went to
a Monarch.
Yes. Anyway, so Todd, I'm going to tell you that I have not been truly excited about track and field, United States track and field, since FloJo.
Mm-hmm.
And then SHA'CARRI Richardson came about, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't see her run in the U.S. quarterfinals or whatever. I just saw the pictures.
Right.
And so, and you know, they were like, she's the best thing since sliced bread and blah, blah, blah. And she, like, so.
She got a lot of pup.
I will tell you that I'm how do I say this? I'm always rooting for our people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not always rooting for how they go about it, but I'm always rooting for our people. Now, I would tell you that I'm not always rooting for them the way they go about it because I feel like, and I'll talk about this a little bit later, we have this desire to push the flawed candidate, the flawed hero through. Even if we know they're tragically flawed in the grand scheme of things, or we want to ignore the obvious. And so even in ignoring the obvious, we set ourselves up for failure. Sha'Carri Richardson, I felt like, was amplified because I feel like they amplified Sha'Carri Richardson because of how she looked initially, right? I think the whole hair, nails, eyelashes.
I think her eyelashes may have slowed her down.
I think that we might have slowed her down too. But I think the whole picture of her was this sense of black girl magic.
Mm-hmm.
Particularly for a new generation. I would tell you that.
Who wears house shoes out like they're
okay, so hold on.
street shoes.
So I think I'm going to not denigrate her. I'm gonna go to.
Oh, I'm not denigrating her. I'm denigrating everybody who wears house shoes out like that.
But I feel like we raised her up because she became an extra hero, not because of her speed, but because she smoked weed and got put out. Like she became an extra, and
that's because she got real regular then.
well, they treated her, and I felt like black people was like, this is a miscarriage of justice. It's a miscarriage of justice. She smoked weed, but weed is legal, and Michael Phelps and all of that stuff. So there's the whole social issue of Sha'Carri Richardson, and I'm going to talk about that at 8:30. But I want to talk about the whole concept of talking smack in sports. And I want to know, should we feel sorry? The social media question of the day. Reese, give me the voice.
It's time for the social media question of the day.
Should we feel sorry for Sha'Carri Richardson? Now, I got to start by saying these are sports, right? This is not the social moral compass of black intensity and how much we love or hate black people. This is a race. I don't know how many of y'all grew up where it used to be there was almost a battle to be who is the fastest person in the neighborhood. I line up right here. Yeah. Right? And you race down the block and the first person run past, right? And it was before we had, and the whole point was to win. And if you won, you got talk smack rights. Just like if you was the baddest fighter, just like if you was the best anything, you get to talk smack. In the meantime, in the lead up to it, everybody's talking smack. Everybody is. But at the end of the day, there's one champ. And everybody who talks smack underneath that gets smacked, they get checked. Let me tell you how I would have won in Bolingbrook. Sha'Carri would have went to the race. The whole of Bolingbrook would have been supporting her, right? Everybody would have been like, we would have been talking smack. I'd have been on the radio talking about can't nobody touch Bolingbrook, blah, blah. This happened to me with Simeon a few years ago down at the state champ. Talk smack, we would have been blah, 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 blah. We'd have been like, that's why St. Ignatius saying, man, we'd have whooped Prosser. We'd have talked everything, right? And if Sha'Carri would have lost from Bolingbrook and came home, guess what? We would have still gave her a parade. We would have still been taught. We still would have loved her and be like, go ahead, girl. But in the event that SHA'CARRI started talking smack to anybody in the crib, the first thing we'd be like, don't make me go get them Jamaicans to whoop your ass.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
And then she'll have to be quiet. And then everybody will laugh. And then the party would go on.
Yeah, that's funny.
No, and so here we go. I'm going to put, Todd, I want you to look at the big screen.
The big screen.
And if you check that one, you can see it in real time.
There's two.
Check the little big screen.
Okay.
We're going to actually, Reese, I'm going to have you turn up the volume on the road because we're going to hear the play-by-play from the race. The race this Saturday. This is the Prefontaine Classic, courtesy of NBC. Ready? Let's play it. Ready? Go.
Women's 100. And a good start for Shelly Ann Fraser-Price. Thompson, hurrah! Richardson being left behind and out in front. The Olympic champion does it again.
10.54. That is the second fastest time ever. Only Olympic champion reminds you why she is the twice now reigning Olympic champ. That was an amazing 100 meters. She made it look easy. No contest.
Todd. Now, I'm not tripping. You know, Instagram and Facebook is a beast. Because, you know, it'll have you want to talk smack, right?
Right.
So, after... hold on. Don't tell me I done lost my... So, SHA'CARRI Richardson was our person in the race.
Right.
I was talking smack. I wasn't with Team Jamaica. I was talking smack like SHA'CARRI gonna win. But when she won, when she lost, it's like, you know how you be like, I be talking, and I be quiet, and I be talking again. Now, I want you to hear SHA'CARRI's response after taking that mollywhopping, okay? Here's her response, okay? Here we go.
This is one race. I'm not done. You know what I'm capable of. Count me out if you want to. Talk all the shit you want. Because I'm here to stay. I'm not done. I'm the sixth fastest woman in this game ever. And can't nobody ever take that from me.
That's right. She said she's the what?
Sixth fastest ever.
Oh.
I don't think anybody could. But I do got to say, like, yo, you got smoked. So you got to be quiet. Like you, well, let me back up. Should we, cause then Black Twitter, everybody had a comment, right? Everybody, cause you know, she been talking smack, you know, she been doing the Instagram, yo, I'm getting ready, y'all ain't ready, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I love it all. I'm here for all the smoke. That's why I love Muhammad Ali, right? That's why I loved him. Cause he would talk that smack and then he'd be like, and then ding, 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 he'll do it.
Right.
I love Mike. Talk that smack. Game 7, we doing it.
Right. Game 6. But
Game 6, that's what I mean. I love athletes that talk smack. I really do. I used to love Brian. I love any athlete that can talk smack and back it up. But she got smoked. Now, I'm saying we got smoked because I wasn't on Team Jamaica. But I also realized, like, because let me just tell y'all, when I was in Jamaica just a couple weeks ago, I was talking smack about SHA'CARRI Richardson. And let me tell you what the Jamaican, when I be talking about SHA'CARRI Richardson, you know what they did?
What?
Both trips.
What?
Took me right by Usain Bolt's high school and said, you see that? That is what Usain Bolt went to high school. I like Usain Bolt, but I want America to win.
Right.
But if we get smoked, we got smoked. Now,
it wasn't what she said to me, except for maybe the cursing thing on national TV. But it was just how she said it. She was just a little too emotional for somebody who came in 9th place. It should have been like, "Hey, man, I didn't have it today, but you watch out for next one, all right?"
So first of all, there's more to the story, but should we feel sorry for Sha'Carri, because here's the thing I felt like. Everybody turned it into this anti-blackness and y'all hating on the sister. And it's like, no, cuz you went to the race, you came in ninth, you talk smack. We're going to talk smack. Like, are we really suggesting that roasting is now out of the black? Or when it's that to me is the epitome of kind of this, and I was saying millennials, but I'm not exactly sure what generation, but the generation of the participation trophy, right? Like where you lose, but you feel like you should get winner treatment. Come on, Reese, I see you inching.
Mm-hmm. I was with her until after she did all that, and then she dropped out of her next event with the 200. Did you know that?
Yes. So she dropped out of the 200.
I'm the fastest one. I'm the sixth fast, and then you go and quit your next race?
She did quit out the second race.
I understand that. Once you come in ninth, you do not want to come in ninth in the next race.
She's still trying to finish that race right now. I can see her still running.
So, do we feel sorry for Sha'Carri? Do we have to feel? Can we have some fun and still be like she's still our girl? Because this is what I said yesterday. I said, Sha'Carri, you are still welcome at the barbecue. We love you, but if you talk smack, know that your cousins are gonna roast you.
You're right.
And stay away from Uncle Bob's jerk chicken at the family reunion, because it's a little spicy for you. Right? Now, I meant that in all lightheartedness. And it turned into, y'all just want to tear down the black woman and these... No, sis. Like, when you talk smack, hold on. When you talk smack, right? Because, let me play it back for you. Because I need you to... This is what happened. This is what she said. Let me go one more time.
This is one race. I'm not done. You know what I'm capable of. Count me out if you want to.
She can be a preacher.
Talk all the shit you want, because I'm here to stay. I'm not done. I'm the sixth fastest woman in this game ever. And can't nobody ever take that from me.
Ma, we wasn't trying to take nothing from you. We just wanted you to win. And when you lost, I think we have a right, because I feel like it's laughing at all of us. Like, I feel like Sha'Carri... I just couldn't believe the response. So let me ask you a question. Do we have to feel sorry for Sha'Carri? Because here go the other part. Out of all this, it was an American woman who finished fourth.
Oh, there was
Right. So we paying attention to number 9. Like, number 4 be like, Dad, you left me out here by myself.
And didn't even get the interview.
They didn't even get an interview. By American TV. Right? So I'm just asking you. I'm asking. So, but do you... Yeah, I hear all of that. Like, y'all talk about you crying, you do whatever. I remember one time, I'm going to tell a story. I remember one time, my son moved from A team to B team because they was like, you're a second teamer on A. You all-star on B. And we need you to get better on All-Star B so you could play at A, right?
Right, I get that.
So he was fired up, right? He like, oh, okay. Because, you know, they was romping. They was at 18, and they would romp everybody. So it was just like
18.
The 18. B team used to be scrappy, but they would fight for their games. So I remember we going to the game, and he going to the thing. He done packed 3 pair of shoes. I'm like, boy, why are you taking 3 pair of shoes? Because, you know, I'm going to have to change in the quarter. I was like, how about you just win a game and do good with this new team that you playing with before you start doing all this? And I mean, he was... First game, they just double teamed the whole game, shut him down. Didn't get to change his shoes.
I'm sorry, what's the change of shoes about?
He like not in rhythm or something.
No, change his shoes because he was stunting. Because he got shoes and he wanted to be like, after I bust 20 on you with this, I'm going to come change my shoes. And I was just like, no.
Oh, that's the new generation.
The bingo. All that's, look, and I'm saying like, I'm in the car like, you really going to pack all them shoes? You really think you going to change them in there? And he like, man, I got to do. never got to change the shoes. So we get back in the car. I'm like, what's up with the shoes, money? What's up with the shoes? Right? Did you didn't get a chance to change? Right? My son though. It's my son. And it's like, you don't want to hear me, so go out there and they double teamed you, shut you down, because they said if we shut them down, nobody else gets the ball, and now you got nothing. And guess what? He didn't and he wanted to, and you better not cry. You better not cry. You better not cry. You better suck it up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I felt about this moment. Because I felt like I'm telling you, I was glad I wasn't in Jamaica because I was talking smack to everybody. Everybody. And they was like, you don't know what it's like to run in port. That was Russian. My bad. Anyway, do we have to feel sorry for SHA'CARRI? Now, in all fairness, because I was thinking about this, because did you see the Jamaicans walking by her? They was like...
Gotcha.
You seen them Delta virus, like my fall plans, Delta variant.
Right.
It was like, she was like my fall plans. And then the Jamaicans talk about like the Delta variant. So I will tell you that I have been in fights at times, and once I have lost a fight, but if you lose a fight and the people are still in the vicinity, you can't act like you just lost. You can't act like you laid down. You still got to be like, because they might come back and try and jump on you again. So you got to be like, we don't want no more. So maybe that was her response. I can imagine somebody sticking a camera in your face right after you got off the thing. And so as we talk about this, I want to shape it because I think it's only fair. No one talked about this interview from SHA'CARRI, and I'm going to play this, and then after I play this, we're going to go to break. This is SHA'CARRI after she calmed down a little bit.
Today was a blessing just to be back on the track. Not coming in with expectations, but of course wanting to do what it is that I'm well known to do, and that's be a performer. But God has a plan for everything, and I'm a warrior. And I like to say, after the race, I was in the heat of passion, and I apologize for my language, but I'm a warrior. My passion will always come out for my love, for what it is that I put my blood, sweat, tears, and sacrifice into. This last month was a journey for me, but that's no excuse because at the end of the day, I'm an athlete, and today was a day, but it's not every day. It's not the end of the world. And like I say, if you choose to count me out, joke's on you.
Do you feel
even after the race, even before the race, feeling the love, feeling the genuineness was amazing. Knowing the fact that people actually care, like people actually see what it is that I want to bring to the sport, what I put out there, and it's a blessing for it to be recognized. And so I'm thankful for the support, and I will continue to be thankful for the support. And when I go back into training, go back into competing, my support system, down to the fans, my family, my coach, y'all all are in there. I represent you guys. So, like I said, don't take today as an L for us because we're not going nowhere.
Behind L's a W.
What? Okay.
Any more races for you this season?
Oh, definitely. There probably a couple, one or two more, but we can't finish like this.
Yeah, for sure.
Did your girl say for sure?
Yeah, right.
In the background, she was like for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I see the adrenaline flow stopped, so she was a little. She got back into being, hey, I'm a celebrity,
and I think she had the camera stuck in her face. I have had people like when I come off the show or whatever, and they get right in your face, and you like, man, give me a break. So what I don't want is for her to be judged on those comments. Although no one will talk about the second part of it, the later when she came down, right? So here to me is a learning moment, right? And I think that it provided for some comedy to me, right? And it was like some fun. Like I feel like the whole like you get dragged in a race, I'm still gonna be rooting for SHA'CARRI every time she runs, right? She can't come in ninth again. But I think that we've gotten so sensitive in this world that we can't, like people was like, this is a misogynist attempt to destroy black women and y'all are trying to shadily. I was like, really? Nah, she lost. She came in ninth after talking smack. And I was talking smack with her. And just like it's like when you lose a bet, right? You talked all the smack in your team. Y'all taking all the fun out of competition to me. right? Like if I want to see athletes that talk smack, but I also want them to be able to back it. And if they can't back it, that's part of the fun of it, right? It's the part of the fun of betting. It's part of the fun of the whole idea of sports. Someone has to win. Someone has to lose.
The only way.
And this whole concept of participation trophy and you get points just because you tried, yeah, that sounds good, but no.
I
That
got
ain't
no
how
problem
America
with that,
works.
actually.
I'm not with participation trophies. Everybody is not the same. And it's like
no, you're
if
not the same. That's why you didn't get the gold, the silver, or the bronze. But you were here. I acknowledge that.
And I think that when you give people rewards for just showing up,
No, you don't have to just show up. You have to actually participate.
No, you can get a participation.
Anybody can go anywhere.
Hey, you ever been to
I show up when I'm in the stands.
If you've ever been to an AAU game or an AAU tournament,
I never will because that is some.
So, but I'm
BS.
telling you,
I don't want to even see that crap.
And you're not the example of SHA'CARRI. You're not the example of what I'm trying to get to. You're talking about our generation. I'm talking about going forward. So all these kids that's running around with a desk full of participation trophies that say they participated, and even if they was on the bench, and then feel like when it's they feel like when they get at they look like themselves and they see the lion in the mirror because they got a line full of participation trophies. See, to me, the best you shortchange people by setting a false standard. The concept of the trophy, to me, makes you say, if you want that, you got to work harder. And I feel like everybody that's getting the participation trophies now, right, just give me some points for being there instead of working harder, doing what I need to do to be above and better than the rest. And it's like...
but see, I think that's a false equivalent.
Let's talk about it when we come back. It is the Maze Jackson Show. Let's do it quick. So get some traffic news and weather. If you need to get your commercial and a song before we do it, then let's do it and come back. We'll be right back.
The Maze Jackson Show will be back after this break.
WBGX.
Introducing your trusted source for high-quality black emojis, better known as Blackmoji. We believe black is beautiful, and that beauty should be reflected in the digital market. Now there is an app that does just that, starting with Black three-letter organizations. Blackmoji D9 offers more than an emoji app. It is a cultural experience of black excellence. Download the app in the Apple or Google Play Store to access a specially curated catalog of emojis representing the Divine Nine. Use the emojis to celebrate Black Week events, acknowledge current events, support social causes, and learn about esteemed Black Week members who blaze the trail of Black history. A portion of every subscription goes toward a scholarship fund specifically for members of Black three-letter organizations to help keep the legacy alive. Download the Blackmoji app today.
And now, traffic and weather.
Good morning. What's in it for the Black People Media family? The time is now 7:38 a.m. And I'm Reese the Ruler with your Chicagoland area sports, weather, and traffic update. The Chicago Cubs are regularly hosting the Kansas City Royals. Kansas City Royals Carlos Hernandez will strike out 8 Cubs and help them complete the weekend sweep as the Cubs will lose 9-1. The Chicago White Sox taking on the AL leading East Tampa Bay Rays. The Tampa Bay Rays will use a bullpen of 5 pitchers to shut out the Sox 9-0. On the traffic on the Kennedy now, O'Hare to the Loop is 45 minutes. Outbound to O'Hare is 34. Eden Deerfield to Exchange 46. Back out to Deerfield will be 41. On the Eisenhower, Thorndale to the Loop is 46. Back out to Thorndale will be 40. Stevenson from I-355 to the Dan Ryan is 60 minutes. Outbound will be 35. The Bishop Ford I-80 to the Dan Ryan is 55 minutes. 28 minutes back out to I-80. The Dan Ryan is 20 minutes to the Loop, 16 minutes back out to 95th. The Sabo Lakeshore Drive south and north is a solid 8 minutes. That's 55th to Jackson, Jackson to 55th, as well as Randolph to Bryn Mawr and Bryn Mawr to Randolph. Today's weather, it is currently 72 and sunny. Expect to have 88 and a low of 70. I'm Reese the Ruler, and that was your sports weather and traffic update. Now here's Slick with So Good.
what you did, but you did it right. Girl, you make it look so easy. Everywhere you go, heads turning left and right. Can't say you a dime, you're a 20-piece. Cause girl, you're the reason I be acting funny. Everything in me telling me don't let you get away. And all the guys looking like they wanna love you. Every day I'm your body, got none over my dead body. Why you gotta look so good? Why you gotta look so good? Why you gotta look so good? With your hair done, nails done, when you put that clothes on.
You are tuned in to the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my co-host sitting in with me today, Todd Stroger. DJ Rooster Rule on the ones and twos with the news and traffic and weather as well. Hey, y'all. Sorry for SHA'CARRI or no. Todd, can you still talk smack in sports? It's like they really are starting to. I mean, if I gotta watch sports and it's got to be a everything is a judgment on race, politics, sex, gender, it's gonna take all the fun away from it. Like,
No, I'm with you. I grew up in that age where you pretty much made a fun of just about everything. Like, people got upset when, Derrick Rose would get hurt and a joke would just come to you.
They'd be like, he's fragile. Like, I feel like you can't use it. You can't use the social media and be like, hyping everybody up and blowing your hair out and turning around in the videos and being like, I'm coming for you. Like that, when you do that, you got to be like Rocky, right? You got to be lifting boulders. You got to be lifting bales of hay, running on the beach. You can't say I've been out for 2 months. You got to be like, in 2 months, I turned into the Hulk. Because when you come back, you can't, or you set the expectations low and you be like, nah, y'all know I ain't been in the race. And all the time, you been,
right,
and then you surprised. But you don't be like, I'm about, man, up like the champ. Whoop that white boy, right?
Yeah.
You can't do that and then not whoop the white boy.
Right.
Right? Now, let me tell you, if she would have lost to Norway, I'd have been talking, you would have never heard a word from me. But I mean, the Jamaican girls walking by was the hood in a, like, you ever lost something in the neighborhood, not even in the hood. You ever played a game where somebody talking to you the whole time? They like,
yes.
My son.
No, he's very respectful. That was you talking.
Yeah, I mean, huh?
That's not how it is no more.
So I'm gonna tell you, because Reese, I used to get kicked out. Like, they used to be mad at me at the Catholic League because I was the crowd. I'd be like, like I was, and I got a voice that carries, so I could fill up a whole gym. Like, there would never be a game where the parents on the other team didn't eventually be trying to beat me, not the game, because I was louder than all of them. But it was like, it made the game fun.
For you.
I don't know, like,
for you.
Yeah. Like,
I feel like, like, it's always that one person. Like you never notice it's always that one honorary fan. Like, there's Mr. Like, because he's always the over the top fan.
Over the top.
So you always need that one fan. Like no matter what, even though you probably don't want to hear him, but I guarantee if you miss the game, man, you be like, I ain't see Maze the other day. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
I'm gonna tell you, this happened.
Hold on, my kids, not Claire. This is Claire, because both of them play basketball in grammar school. But Claire, it's like on her 6th grade team. And there's not a lot of students, so it's a boys-girl team. They're playing a boys team. The boys team is whipping them. And one of the fathers is like, whip that butt, do this, take it to the hole. And I'm like, hey, man, shut up. Sometimes you got to be like, this isn't time to be doing all that.
No. So let me say this. Bolingbrook played Simeon in the Final Four of the state like 4 years ago, right? Bolingbrook was ranked number 2 in the state. Simeon was like number 5. It's like my big moment to be like, so we go down, we got seats literally behind Simeon's bench. I got the loudest red-black jacket I could get on, and I literally spend the whole first half just like nothing foul, just like, let's go Raiders, they ain't ready for you. Like, to the point where, like, I really feel like I may have lost the game for Bolingbrook because the Simeon players were no longer playing to stop Bolingbrook. They was playing to shut me up. And like literally, Talon came off the court. Like I remember he dunked and literally walked over to the sideline and was like, And
well, that's different.
But no, but then Todd at the end,
this is equal stuff. That was equal stuff. I get that.
No, don't put your kid in the game. If y'all playing mixed league and your daughter is in there, she better post up.
It's 6th grade.
So, but the 6th grade is where so there are girls who play in 6th grade who are trying to get better, and they're playing with boys because they want all the smoke.
Yeah, and so that may be, but they knew that this team was not any talent for them.
Hey man, look. My parents, no mercy. Like if you played the Jackson household, I remember playing Sorry, the game Sorry.
I remember Sorry
at like 6, and I'd be like about to win, and I'd be like, "Mom, please, don't hit me with the Sorry." They'd be like, "Sorry, send your butt back." Ha ha ha. Remember, Uno, 5, 7, 8, 9. Draw 4. Draw 4 again. Draw 4 again. No, you teach the kid. Like, my parents.
That's fine, too. I don't care about that.
So, I'm saying, Todd, you can't let your girl play boys basketball.
No, I don't mind her. I don't mind them getting beat. Him getting beat, that happens. The other team was more talented. I don't want you yelling at your son to whip my daughter because your son's a boy.
I'm saying your daughter.
Maybe I'm just a little sensitive about that.
I think you are, because I think your daughter shouldn't be on the floor. You go play in the WNBA.
Or maybe you just don't understand.
Yeah, I do.
No, you don't.
This is me. If a girl plays football, she's getting tackled. Right? If you're on the football field, I don't care if you're the punter. If I got a clean shot, if you're on the field, I'm not pulling up. I'm hitting you. I feel like if we got this thing about competition where we don't want them to compete too much instead of learning how to deal with it.
No, I'm not saying win the game. Go ahead. I just don't want you saying dunk on that little girl.
Don't put the little girl on the floor.
You better get out the way.
That's there it is. Get out the way.
And another thing, I listened to a basketball player, not like us three. This guy actually played in the league.
Okay.
White guy, looks like he's probably an accountant, really, but he played in the league.
Okay.
And he had made some important points, and it's like, at these ages, you don't know what your child's going to be, really. You don't really grow into that athleticism. Maybe there's some one shining star who's always the same, but for the most part, you don't know what your child's going to be. And the point he was trying to make is this is the time when you let everybody play so they can try to learn the game. And then there comes a point where they're going to drop off. But it's not when you're like in 6th and 7th grade.
So I'm supposed to just lessen my talent because your daughter's on the court.
Because you want, right.
No.
You just don't want me to talk.
You can play. You as a father, I don't want you yelling to tell your son to try to knock my daughter down so he can score.
I would say then I say you can't come to the game. Because if it's legal to happen,
I say we're just fighting the stands.
Okay.
Sometimes it comes to that.
So I do think though that we have this. We're hypersensitive, and I think like the whole I don't think
I am sensitive about people yelling from the stands. If you're not on the court, man, there's some things you shouldn't say. You can say just about anything, but there's some things you can.
But I think people don't even like you to be loud. If you at the free throw line, I'm like, airball.
No, that's just part of the game.
And that would be double standard. But listen now, if you now he doing that to her. Now, if she was doing that to him, they'd be like, "Oh, she just took it all up on him." Like it would be, and we would glorify that though. We would be like, "Dang man, you let a girl did that to you," and then you would have been telling him, "Man, my girl did that to your son."
No, I wouldn't do that.
I would. I feel like that's all part. Like. I don't care if, there have been many a game where I have been obnoxious, right? And we lose, and the whole other, the parents be like, yeah! Like, they be running around, and I think our kids have been like, Mr. Jackson, could you please? But the fun, to me, is part of the competition, and I've always, part of the game is always the ability to talk smack. Like, if I can't talk no smack, right? And it's like, if I lose, I'm going to eat it. But if I win, Oh, you gonna wear it? Because I'm gonna do it.
I got a story that's kind of, I don't know if it's good or bad.
Okay.
So one of the basketball players that we know at the other station said they were on the all-star team. There's a guy I know who plays real well, but like a lot of guys, he's a guard and he's less than 6 feet, so he couldn't go too far. So they're on one of these traveling all-star teams, and they're somewhere like in Indiana. And this other guy is not in the game, but he is talking mad smack to like the best player on the other team. That guy goes out and scores 40 points, annihilates his teammates, and they're like, "Man, you aren't even in the game. Why are you egging this guy on?"
Because if it would have worked, then everybody would been like you in his head, right? It's all part of the game. Like, it's all part. Like, I want to use, like, to me, I'm the sixth man. Now, the sixth man can work sometimes. The sixth man can fail sometimes. But it's like, if you can't, if y'all telling me I can't boo, and I don't boo kids.
Right,
but like,
right.
if you telling me an adult who has put themselves on a national stage to be the best in the world, and they flop, and I got to be like, I didn't see that. It's like, sis, I was running with you. Not with you, but if I have money on it, you know what I'm saying? I just feel like we cannot be so hypersensitive. This is sport. She didn't kneel for the flag. It wasn't like the Jamaicans was like, we Delta varianted you. And we all.
Oh, yeah. The Jamaicans were like,
and just think, the poor girl.
Hey, I think she's on camera. Let's walk behind her.
Right. Because really, the Jamaicans should have been getting an interview.
Oh, right.
If it was Usain Bolt, they like straight up, they walk by like, so I just set the second fastest time in history, and y'all talking to her?
You're right. What, you going to ask her how well I did?
Let me ask a question.
She had the best view.
From behind. Let me ask a question though. Should SHA'CARRI dye her eyebrows, her eyelashes blonde? Should it match her hair?
Go buy a pack that's got that color.
Well, she could buy multicolor.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell y'all. I think we fell in love. Well, I think y'all fell in love with SHA'CARRI because y'all seem to be full. That's what I really think. We'll talk about that at a different time.
You mean like when you go out of town, or you go to a different country and you see a black person, you're like, "Dang, was that guy in my high school class?"
I
That kind of thing.
I just think that SHA'CARRI has all of the trappings of today's Instagram black girl.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that we love seeing ourselves reflected. And I think that even as much as we talk about not liking, or some of us talk about the bonnets and the house shoes and all of those things, which in some ways to me she embodies. To me, she is still our family. She is still my cousin. She is still my cousin that lives in Indiana or wherever it is. And so even though we might even not like that fact that some of them have some of the things that we don't particularly care for, she still, to me, represented us. Which is why she ascended, and I think people wanted to see her do well, because I think everybody wants to see even the girls with the bonnets do well. Right? I don't think that there's any ill will towards them. I think it's our desire to see them be able to get to the best. And I really, I'm sure y'all gonna jump on me about it, but I'm gonna talk about it a little bit later. Because I think we love the tragically flawed hero almost so much so to our demise. Like, to me, we would have bet. Like, imagine if everybody who was talking initially had money, right? And we put money. I bet you everybody we know probably, except for people, not people think betting with their mind, but people betting with their hearts, would have bet on SHA'CARRI. Like, if everybody had $10 black in Chicago and we had to place a bet, we would have all put our money happily on SHA'CARRI.
Right.
Right? We would have not looked at the records. We wouldn't have looked at nothing. We would have, like I say, when you turn on the TV and you see a black and a white boxer, when you saw SHA'CARRI, whether you said that was a black girl. And she was an embodiment of black girl magic in a way. Not everybody's way, but nonetheless, and even the most upper crust of the upper crust, even as they was talking smack, still was rooting for her.
Yeah.
Because she's still us. We don't want to see you fail, sis. Now we say that might not be the way to go if you want to succeed in this world. Now some people say I'll succeed in spite of. And had she raced one, and then blew them out like that, she could have put a whole bunch of the peripheral stuff to shame. But when you don't win, then it highlights all the rest of the stuff that people say. We'll talk about it later, a little bit more on our love of tragically flawed heroes. But now, Todd, I want to talk about, which probably I blew this because we were supposed to talk about this. And I'm going to tell you, WBGX family, because you all only have about 5 minutes left.
I only have 5 minutes left.
Oh, you're going to miss a great conversation then.
Oh, if that's the case, then did you ever see Stories in the Hood? What's that movie?
Tales from the Hood?
Yeah, Tales. Did you ever see that?
No.
I watched like the end the other day, and I was like, this is actually not bad. I mean, it reminded me of all those other things that white people make, Tales of the Crypt and all that. It didn't get very good reviews, but...
it never gets really good reviews. It was on BT, right?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm just saying, the BT... You know what? I gotta... It's interesting. They never get... But BT has some really good stuff. Todd, when we come back, and I'm sorry you're going to miss this conversation, we are going to talk about Lori leaning Latino. There's two names that emerged for the school CEO. Neither of the names was black.
Usually they throw a black person out, even if the plan is not to hire them. That's surprising.
Right. Pedro Martinez, Jose Torres are the two finalists that are being leaked. Todd, earlier I was talking about the melting glacier of black people in Chicago. Right. We went at the peak at Harold Washington. I think we were at 1 point. I said 1.6, but I think it was 1.2. It's anywhere between 1.2 and 1.6 million black folks. We are now down to less than 800,000, rapidly declining. As a matter of fact, over the last 10 years, we had 9% population loss, which makes it deceptive in that the state grew by 1%, but the largest growth came from Latinos and Asians. This appointing of a Latino as the head of the school board really, in my estimation, seals our future. And so I also, as we talk about it, I want to talk about how do we see ourselves in the reconfigured Chicago. I think we've always operated from the standpoint or the perspective as the minority organization or the minority. We operated as the big dogs and pretty much got treated that way. We are now second and declining, while there are two groups that are on the rise. People don't bet the past, they bet the future. And I was just thinking, this is probably our last big bite at the apple from a position of authority. And I wonder what we look like in the reimagined Chicago. So I'm going to talk to you about Pedro Martinez and Jose Torres and the fact that the mayor can't find anybody to come be the CEO because this was supposed to be picked in July. We're now starting, and they told us that the interim CEO was not going to be the CEO. Now he's one of the finalists. All right, thank you to everybody at WBGX. Now I'm going to tell you what. The most intriguing conversation of the day, I know we've been talking a lot about SHA'CARRI, is coming up after 8 o'clock. So you definitely want to tune in. So we thank you all for being with us. But make sure you go to the Maze Jackson page on Facebook or on YouTube, because we are going to be talking about the new, the search for a CEO and what does it mean for Black Chicago. Look, Todd's got to break out of here, so it'll just be me and Reese after the break. It is the Maze Jackson Show Also, Todd.
Yes.
This whole Afghanistan thing. I was just thinking, remember how could you imagine if Chicago was in charge of the Afghan escape or the leaving of Afghan? You know, we took citizen out of our everything in our city. Could you imagine being in Afghanistan? Think about in Chicago, they said the word citizen is discriminatory, and they took it out of everything. They took it out of our Constitution, our city bylaws, all of that stuff.
That's just stupid.
Now, just think about this. Could you imagine if
a citizen then?
They made it a negative thing? To be a citizen was a way to be discriminated against. Could you imagine being, right now, you get out of Afghanistan because you are an American citizen? Could you imagine if being an American citizen meant nothing to the people in Afghanistan right now? I just thought about this because y'all do realize that in Chicago, they convinced us that taking citizen out of everything was the right thing to do because it was discriminatory. Could you imagine right now being in Afghanistan trying to get out and they said, being American citizen, we don't care about that passport because being a citizen means nothing.
You know, like in the movies, when people get in trouble, they always yell out, "You can't treat me this way. I'm an American citizen."
Not in Chicago. It's the Maze Jackson Show. We'll be back. And when we come back, Todd will do what he always does and disappear. Well, it's the Maze Jackson Show. We'll be back after these messages.
The Maze Jackson Show. We'll be back after this break.
WBGX PM.
Shop at Black-owned and operated Solo Beauty, where you are appreciated and respected. Located at 8158 South Cottage Grove, Solo Beauty can supply all of your black hair care needs. Solo Beauty is open from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m., Tuesday through Saturday.
Let's reminisce. Yeah. Woo. See, I remember the first day we met, a Thursday night at the club I'll never forget. Do you remember the words that I said? One night in my bed you'll never regret. And you, with your pretty brown eyes, I knew, baby, you would change my life. And you opened up my eyes to see I'm excited for our future, but I love our history. Let's throw back to the day that we first met. Let's throw back, I never will forget. Let's throw back to when we fell in love. Let's throw back, babe. I wanna throw back, babe. Is it just me? Don't you miss those nights sexing on the beach, playing Isley Brothers in between the sheets? And now we're taking flights from London to Belize, and we're popping bottles, endless shopping sprees. Still sexy as can be. I knew you're still the only one for me. Yeah. I'm feeling lucky as can be. I'm excited for our future, but I love our history. Yeah. To the day that we first met. Let's throw back. I really wanna know. Yeah. Let's throw back. Let's go back. Let's throw back. Let's go. I wanna throw back.
Good morning. What's in it for the Black People Media family? The time is now 8:04 a.m. and I'm Reese the Ruler with your Chicagoland area sports weather and traffic update. In sports, the Chicago Cubs is at Wrigley hosting the Kansas City Royals. Kansas City Royal Hernandez will strike out 8 Cubs to beat the Cubs 9-1. The Chicago White Sox and Tampa Bay taking on the AL East leading Rays. Rays will have a strong bullpen and shut out the Sox 9-0. In traffic on the Kennedy, O'Hare to the Loop, 43 minutes. Outbound to O'Hare will be 39. On the Eden from Deerfield to Exchange will be 42. Exchange to Deerfield, 52. On the Eisenhower, Thorndale to the Loop is 49. Back out to Thorndale will be 43. On the Stevenson, I-355 to the Dan Ryan, 53 minutes. Outbound will be 41. Bishop Ford, I-80 to the Dan Ryan, 53 minutes. 28 minutes to I-80. Dan Ryan, 20 minutes to the Loop, 16 minutes to 95th. DuSable Laser Drive, 8 minutes all around. That's 55th to Jackson. Jackson 55th. Bryn Mawr to Randolph. Randolph to Bryn Mawr. Today's weather currently 72 and sunny with a high of 88 and a low of 70. Now, back to the Mays Jackson Show.
Back to the Mays Jackson Show. You are listening to the most dangerous show in the morning. This is What's in It for the Black People Radio. Mays Jackson. Mays Jackson, the most vociferous advocate for black people in the world.
People, cause economically we are not equal. Waking up to lies, can't doze no more. I told y'all, yeah, this a dangerous show. Don't go to church if you ain't trying to help us. Don't even try to be around and can't protect us. We see the lies, not other politicians. We need money and no symbolism. It's Mays, it's Sonia, and Ruthie and Todd, explaining how we all come from God, giving us tools to beat the odds. If we're united, our movement gon' stop. If they ain't tryna help us, they ain't tryna do nothing. We gotta do something, we gotta stop running. It's time to confront the problem. Really, you expect your oppressed to solve on.
Wake up, Chicago! Wake up, world. This is the Mays Jackson Show. I'm your host, Mays Jackson, and just like he always does, dipping out on us, Todd Stroger's out. But it's okay because I got my man DJ Reese the Ruler on the ones and twos. Reese, I am going to move this conversation. Did we get any calls on SHA'CARRI? We didn't. I don't think I even opened up the phone lines. Did we open them up? It's cool. We saved a little money today. Y'all, hey man, I'm going to just tell y'all, if y'all grew up in the 70s, 80s, or 90s, you knew what it was to get roasted.
2002, like I'm telling you, that was a thing. Like when I was in school, like talking to, like we literally used to have sessions and we thought it was like funny, hey man, like saying like jokes back and forth and never really took it, to heart really.
I'm going to tell y'all, growing up, I had two front teeth that were bright yellow, right? They were bright yellow, so much so that they used to call me butter teeth in school. It was terrible. It was terrible. I mean, I was traumatized from 6th grade to 8th grade. My parents, and I don't know what it was. It was just nothing. I had these caps that they yellowed on me, and it was just like, that's what it made me. But I learned a way to get back, right? What I did was I became the shake pourer. So everybody that talked smack about me, they shakes was always short. Right? But you learn to cope. You learn to deal. And it's like it helps you get through the tough times. Right? And so I feel like this. And I'm going to tell you, sometimes I am very much, Todd, I'm going to tell you, as much as I think about it, I think everybody needs the opportunity to be teased. Because you get over it. You realize that everybody got something and you figure out a way to move through life. And I'm going to be honest with you. There have been times when I have wanted to shelter my son from certain things or be like, but it's like, nah, dog, you got to get your butt out there and go take it. I'm sorry they pushed you down. Hey, Joe, you the smallest guy on the team. You want to play basketball? Yeah, get out there. Sorry. There ain't nobody. And everybody wants to guard you because you are the smallest guy. And they going to take. So if you what I'm supposed to do. Don't come over here crying. But get out there and learn how to handle the ball or sit your ass on the bench. Now, do I love him any less? No. And remember when he had all the bag of shoes? That was a learning lesson. And I could have probably got in and said, oh, son, next time just put 2 pairs of shoes in the bag. No, dog, what you carry? Why you got 3 pairs of shoes? Why? And you learned a lesson, and guess what? Now I can't get him to take 2 pairs of shoes nowhere. He got a pair of flip-flops and a pair of shoes he gonna ball in. But he learned from that. SHA'CARRI is gonna learn. She's gonna get better. I'm not tripping. I think she needs media training. Because how many track stars have we heard this much from ever?
She could have like really spent that, like, this is my a month layoff. This is a good way to get back into the, sports race. Thank all my fans for coming out.
She kind of did, though.
Me. But the first one kind of like blew it. He was like, like, I know they talking about me, like, yeah.
But okay, Reese, let me ask you a question. Say you was just in a fight, right? And the people you got into, you dusted yourself off, but they standing in the background. You gonna be like, my bad, or you gonna be like, shoot, and more dude, now you trying to get up out of there, cause you don't want another scuffing, and you probably you going to lift, you going to hit the weight bag, you planning on how you gonna get their ass back. And so I feel like when the Jamaicans was walking by, cause they was, she probably was like, they think I'm scared, they gonna test me again. So you talk a little louder so they can hear you and keep on moving. So anyway, I got love for SHA'CARRI.
I just want her to run, man. Like,
she gotta cut that hair down some, Joe. It's a drag too.
Yeah, but that PR for sure, she need to go to a PR training right now.
Dag Reese, I thought you was gonna be on the other team.
Nah, man, I told you I didn't like the way she did the interview, like the way she. First of all, you was off for, like you said, 2 months. 2 months. The Olympics kicked you out because of some BA, then you was reinstated in the USA Olympic team, then put you back on a relay team. Like where I grew up from that's fuel to the fire. All right, okay.
I'm gonna show you.
My next race I can run is, August.
I'm from bust up.
All right, and it's no talking, like, because your running is gonna talk. When you in first, you say, boom. That's what they missed out on. That's what the Olympics missed out on, and that's what you do. But then after you lose and you come in and you
can't talk smack if you came in nice.
Yeah, I ain't doing this. Ain't my last race. It really was today. Like, you just quit the next one. Like, and that even out like.
I will tell you though that the curse word was part of the badness of it.
Yeah.
The curse word, and it's like, to me, misplaced curse word. You can't say, and I'm talking to you, Everett, the other than the curse word, but I'm telling you, the curse word really elevated it. It really made it be like, she might as well say F in that. She might as well. And the curse word really, to me, was, again, and I guess we've gotten away from the whole concept of tact and all of that stuff, right? So, again, my idea of, I never heard Michael Jordan curse until now. Right? I'm not tripping. I'm saying maybe the world is changing. The world is changing. But yeah, that was crazy. All right, let me move on because I want to talk about Lori leaning Latino. 2 names have emerged for the school CEO, and neither one of them are black. First of all, let me tell you, Pedro Martinez. Pedro Martinez was actually the CFO during Arnie Duncan's era here. He went on to run school districts in the South. He then became the head of the school district at in Las Vegas, and I believe now he's the head of the San Antonio school district. Now I got to be clear with you that, according to the sources, he's the second candidate. If they can't get the interim CEO to stay. Now, there's one thing that I noticed about the list of people that contended for the job. All of them were from small towns, smaller places than Chicago. And we've seen how that has turned out with Lori Lightfoot and Chief David Brown. Right? Dallas guy comes to Chicago. And San Antonio is even smaller than Chicago. But also pay attention, San Antonio. Why San Antonio? Because of the undocumented and immigrant students that are there. That's part of the niche, because that is going to be part of this. Now, this is going to get a little deep for y'all. So I don't know if y'all really want me to go as deep as I can plan to go on this. So y'all tell me if y'all want me to pull it out. Pull it out. Sorry. This is not Week Wednesday. So I'm gonna start here. There are two candidates that have emerged, both of them Latino men. Pedro Martinez and Jose Torres. Now, how many of you all remember when Mayor Lori Lightfoot told us that when Janice Jackson said she wasn't going to take the job, and they named this Jose Torres the interim CEO, and she guaranteed us that he would not be considered for CEO of the CPS. Now, part of it, remember replacing Janice Jackson at the time with a Latino who was probably one of the most popular CEOs right away, and announcing that this guy would have been the spot would have probably set off alarms, bells, and whistles, because we were all loving our black girl magic. They had to test the waters. But now that they see that there hasn't been this uproar against the Jose Torres, it looks like they're trying to move him into the spot. Now, I got to tell you all that there's more than one reason there's two reasons that I think this is so important, that these two Latino men are now being considered as the CEOs for CPS. One, as a countermeasure and a counterbalance to CTU. Now, work with me here. CTU is a majority white organization at this point, right? They are, in our minds, perceptionally, from in the past, viewed as pro-black. But they are also anti the mayor, who has been the strongest group and the fastest growing group in CPS. It's been the Latinos. The Latinos are anti-socialist, right? Which gives the mayor a fighter against the moves of CTU. See, CTU has morphed into a black and white organization that is controlled by white folks, that has also made inroads into the Latino community. But if you look at Latinos traditionally, they are against socialist leaders. So they have an opportunity to mobilize. And see, it's hard for them to go against, for the city to go against a black woman. It's hard however, when you think about putting a Latino male up to stand up against Stacey Davis Gates and a white Jesse, I can't think of his name right, Jesse Sharkey, a Latino man loses no credibility with his audience for taking on either one of those groups. See, the city can't take on a black man. Excuse me, let me back up. A Latino man can take on a black woman or a white man with no loss of credibility. And I understand you saying CTU is not pro-black, but it has the perception of being pro-black, because we still have in our minds that CTU is a black, that Chicago Public Schools is dominated by black people. We're still looking through the old mirror. Remember, the largest population in CPS at this point are the Latinos. So now what you've got happening is the Latinos consolidating their power. We at one time, now you got to go back, because how many of you all remember me telling you the story of UNO? Why did UNO become focused on schools? Because they knew that all parents were active involved in the education of their school, of their children, particularly Latinos. Whether they were poor or rich, they wanted the education of their children is part of why they came here. So now if I control the schools, I got 300,000 students. Now I got 300,000. Every student has a parent. Now I got 600,000 as my starting base with a Latino man who talks to them directly. At the same time, you all have allowed them to give away the rights of citizenship in CPS or CTU. So all of the things that would protect us in that space as black folks are now gone. Because now as a CTU student, being a citizen means nothing, which puts all of us on the level playing field. But if the level playing field is really tilted towards the Latino community, then you got to ask yourself, what's happening here? What they also do is solidify their political base. Why? Because now you engage all of the parents through the students. And now your CPS CEO becomes your messenger to the Latino community. How did UNO become so powerful? They had 10 schools. And each one of those 10 schools, as parents sent their kids there, they were able to engage those parents and take control of those spots. So now what you have after, now y'all got to imagine this going up, right? We just saw the census come out and the Latinos say, we want more wards. We saw the Latino caucus also put out a letter that said that the next CEO needed to be Latino. When I tell you all about the fact that the glacier has melted, guys, it has melted. We still see ourselves as the black folks of yesteryear of Harold Washington. I used to tell y'all all the time, hey man, we don't need nobody else. But at this point, the new alliances are being made. Like, CPS is its own government. Now, let me also remind you that Miguel Del Valle, we replaced the school board president of Frank Clark, who was an ally of Rahm. They closed 50 schools, and I don't know that we saw the long-term impact. I feel like what's happened is we have been participating in this process slowly over a 10-year process, over a 15, 20-year process, that we have strategically put ourselves out of business in the thought that we were collaborating for our good. So our power has been leveraged to uproot us. And then after we have been uprooted, then what happens? Then you replace us with Latinos who what? They think Latino first. We think we're on the team, so our job is to protect the establishment, but the establishment rapidly is turning, and essentially we are going to find ourselves having to make deals to remain in power, and your black leadership will now have to compromise you to keep their spots. It's clear. Every single time you talk to anybody that as we become uprooted, then we find ourselves. Look at what happened at CHA. We had the black man at top, but the chief, the executive director was a Latino. And so all the executions, the black folks think they doing us a solid up at the top, but in the meantime, the Latino is gutting our insides, installing their people at the slot so that when the official switch happens, we're already gone. We're already eliminated. The black folks in spots are now being like, we feel like we have to acquiesce to the Latinos who are now saying, yo, dog, it's time to take out the swords. And Mayor Lightfoot is giving it to him. Now, here's what we got to ask ourselves, because there's two leading candidates, both Latinos. Where do they come from? Where do the Latino candidates for CEO come from? See, here's where our ecosystem is jacked. And I love Janice Jackson. But our lack of connection leads to a space where our people in power are convinced that they're doing good because they don't have the whole perspective. See, I can guarantee you that Jose Torres or Pedro Martinez, there are Latino sponsors of them. Political sponsors. People who are holding the mayor's feet to the fire saying, Madam Mayor, you're not going to be able to hire a CEO, so here are the people that we look. So when we look at this Pedro Martinez, and he comes from Arnie Duncan's camp, it makes me say, who put him up? Who in the Latino leadership are behind these candidates? Can I also point out something else that's very important that I don't think people talk about? This new CEO is in charge of finding all of the students that were quote unquote lost during COVID. How many times have we heard this story about schools losing between 25 and 40% of their population who dropped off during COVID? And so the number one priority of this new CEO is to go find the children that were lost. Who were the children that fell off the most? Well, let me tell you, it wasn't the Latinos. So even as they try to rebuild the system, is it better to not find those black kids and go reclaim those undocumented immigrants and bring them and fill and populate our places and be like, I never could find those black kids, or they left town? See, we don't think of the plan and the plot. We always cool with everybody. And I'm going to tell you, if you watch The Godfather, which we're listening to in the background right now, Michael said, I don't want my mother to see another one of her sons die. And then as soon as his mom died, they killed everybody. They killed Fredo. But if you recall, they cleaned up all of their enemies. And so right now, even as we're sitting flat-footed, they are repositioning because it is upon us. It is pretty clear that Lori Lightfoot has cast her die with the Latino community. So now I got to ask, what is the direction of Black Chicago understanding this? Like, understand that the school, they gave up the schools. Everybody that we have seen in my last 20 years has been aligned or has made their allegiance in the schools with black people. So if you go to Paul Vallis, Arnie Duncan, Janice Jackson, I can't remember who was after, but all of them built their base on the foundation of growing in the black community. So they built new schools, they hired teachers, they did all of those different things. When they shut down the 56 schools, they eradicated a need for our teachers, thus making the transformation of CTU from a black organization to a majority white organization that still commanded the perception of being a black organization. And when I say it commanded the perception of being a black organization, what I mean is that their interests were aligned with traditional blacks. So we loved Karen Lewis, which I show her much respect. But at the same time, during that era is when we presided over the transformation of CTU from a majority black organization to a diverse organization that had to take in the interests of everybody. And you think about how many times the CTU contracts were held up for undocumented immigrants. The change has been made. And quite frankly, the road to black leadership is going to have to travel through the Latino community. Think about that. The road to black leadership is going to have to travel through the Latino community. We watched the glacier melt. It's here, y'all. And so now I got to ask you, what is the direction for Black Chicago? What is the direction for Black Chicago? Look, we're going to talk about it when we come back. This is the Mace Jackson Show. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to give y'all too much. It's like, it's all good. We can talk about rainbows and lollipops if y'all want to. But Black Chicago, our glacier has melted. We'll be back.
The Mace Jackson Show will be back after this break.
WIIFTBPM.
WIIFTBP. Media's just for you and me. WIIFTBP. Media's just for you and me.
And now, traffic and weather.
Good morning. What's in it for the Black People Media family? The time is now 8:33 a.m. and I'm Reese the Ruler with your Chicagoland area sports weather and traffic update. In sports, the Chicago Cubs was at Wrigley yesterday hosting the Kansas City Royals. Kansas City Royals Hernandez will strike out 8 Cubbies and beat the Cubs 9-1 and sweep this weekend series. The Chicago White Sox in Tampa Bay taking on the AL East leading Rays. The Rays will use the bullpen to shut the Sox out 9-0. On the traffic on the Kennedy, O'Hare to the Loop is down to 31 minutes. Outbound to O'Hare is just 25. On the Eden, inbound from Deerfield to Exchange will be 38. Exchange to Deerfield will be 36. On the Eisenhower, Thorndale to the Loop is 56. Outbound will be 29. Stevenson I-355 to the Dan Ryan is 66. Outbound will be 45. On the Bishop Ford, from I-80 to the Dan Ryan is 48 minutes. 28 minutes back out to I-80. The Dan Ryan is still 20 minutes to the Loop and 16 minutes to 95th. DuSable Lakeshore Drive is steady locked at 8 minutes. 55 to Jackson. Jackson to 55th. Randolph to Bryn Mawr and Bryn Mawr to Randolph. Today's weather is currently 73 and sunny. Expect a high of 88 and a low of 70. I'm Reese the Ruler. Now here's been one with Downtown.
Take you to New York, Chicago, LA, Houston, down all over
Lake Shore, I made sure to make sure, yeah, that my place yours, yeah. 28th floor, yeah, I had 8 thoughts, yeah, all 8 yours, yeah, cake for dessert, but I ate yours.
Take you to New York, Chicago, LA, Houston, down all over London, Paris, the A, the Bay, everywhere, fly all over. Your last boy couldn't get what you asked for. Your last boy didn't even know. I'm gonna take you downtown, girl. Show you all the minor things in life. I wanna take you down.
You are listening to the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my man DJ Reese, the ruler, in the building, and we are talking about this whole concept of CPS CEO and our melting glacier. And I use the melting glacier because global warming has been gradual, right? And so it's like a lot of times you don't see it because it happens over years. But I was just thinking about, if you think about the peak black population, about 1.3, let me say between 1.2 and 1.6 million during the Harold Washington era, to almost 800,000 now. We've almost declined by a little less than half. At the same time, we see every one of our power brokers has almost conceded the blackness, conceded that they have to. If we convinced ourselves that there was a black and brown coalition, and there was some level of self-righteousness for black folks who traded, brokered our power. And I guess, have you ever gone on vacation and the time gets away from you? And then when it's the day to leave, and you be like, dang, I should have went to this. I should have did this. Oh, I wish I would have. And you have regrets. I got to ask you, if you're black and you've been in power, and you look at where we are now, do you have any regrets? Like I'm going to tell y'all, I go to a lot of places where I see white wealth creation and black folks enjoying the white folks' wealth on their dime. And I got to ask you, if you look at Chicago right now, hey, y'all, think about this. And I want you to think about all of the growth of Chicago. Every bit of it. What have we significantly built? What do we have standing right now? What does Black Chicago currently have to be proud of? I know y'all gonna tell me some old pie in the sky. Like, you bring your family here. What part of Black Chicago? You gonna take them to Reggie's on the river, on the lake? You know, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I was talking to that white girl this weekend, And all she saw about Chicago was opportunity. She was talking about how she had invested in a lot in Humboldt Park and bought 100,000, and she was building a house from scratch, and she was mining, and she was telling me how she loved all the places and pieces and parts. And think about Chicago. We call it the ADOS capital of the world. What's ADOS about it? Besides the Negroes. It's almost like going to South Africa and driving to the townships and being like, ooh, I want to see how the black people in Chicago live. And why is it so different? Are we just that bad? Do we just not deserve to participate? You look at the Latino caucus is grasping and they're growing. White folks are coming back to the city. They're grasping and they're growing. They're driving through your neighborhood, looking at your houses. Black Chicago, like I feel like I can't impress upon us how Chicago, the idea of Black Chicago in 10 more years will be Obamaized. You think about when we talk about the fact that we were the ADOS capital of the world, and you think about what the idea of the Chicago black person will be in 10 years. In 10 years, so we lost 10%. So now imagine remember they've already predicted we're going to go down to 600,000. What do we have in this city? Like, we got DuSable Lakeshore Drive. Like, yo, y'all, they are giving you your last rites right now. It's like we fighting to be like we was here. Y'all don't, I told y'all, remember when so how many black people can afford I just saw somebody advertising a $400,000 house in Chatham. How long you think black people stay? That's almost $500,000. And I'm not mad at nobody for getting the money. But do y'all understand? Think of a $500,000 house in Chatham. West Side, they coming to play. Them white folks driving all over your stuff. And I'm saying this because there's this lackadaisical attitude. Like, I don't know how to explain my Facebook feed, and I feel like I got to change it. Because I see everybody, like I see all the people who I feel like should be in the fight, they partying, everybody on the boats, we kick it every weekend. I'm looking at it and I'm saying, how are y'all kicking it like this? And y'all, it's like the places we kicking it are smaller and smaller and shorter and less. And now we starting to see the same 6 locations. We watching people get rich. I was sitting at a restaurant the other day and I looked at my tab and I said, who can afford this? No, like really. Who black can live this life? I talked to a black man, he was working at the restaurant. He said, oh no, I'm not from here though. But the people from here, they can't afford this no more. Oh, they definitely can't live around here. And I think about, like, yo, think about this generation of black folks, and I'm talking about mine now. Generation X, Generation Y. Y'all, I'm 50 now, right? And it's funny because I turned 50 and I feel like I'm 30 until I got to get up and stand up and walk around. But I thought about all the stuff that woulda, coulda, shoulda been when I was 30, the things that I was going to do, the opportunities that we was going to have. And man, in 20 years, where will we be? And we look and it's flown by. And in the blink of 20 years, cuz we lost half of us. Did y'all see Avengers? Remember when imagine if you was just looking around and half the people just went away. Now, you didn't see it happen over the course because it happened over the course of 10 years. But half. Or it happened over 20 years. Like, there was a time when you came to Chicago, you knew you was in a black city. Black people are relegated to corners and spots. And every new project, every new development, every time a new white person comes into the space, they show us a project that eventually is going to be the end of us. Remember them white boys, remember the Arabs bought our hospital, Mercy Hospital? I told y'all about this. They bought it and they told you, we promised to keep it here for 10 years. And we cheered. Do y'all know how quick 10 years goes by? Can you imagine what the South, what they just told you they was going to build a $2 billion project right next to it? Do y'all think that the $2 billion, and we're always in the renderings, we're always in the pictures, but we never seem to be there when it's done. And I'm asking y'all right now, like, do y'all understand this? Like, I really believe that this is our last election of dominance. These last two. And I'm concerned that we still don't get it. Like, we still don't get that. Like, it's slowly and gradual and it's short. And it's like we claim these little victories, but these victories are really the end of us, right? They really are like, you won't be here. I was thinking about if I told you I could trade your whole neighborhood and 20% of the people could come back, what's your neighborhood gonna look like now? I just wonder, what is our vision of Black Chicago? What is your vision of Black Chicago when you don't get to claim that we're the biggest minority? I almost feel like we missed it. And to admit that we missed it, it's almost an embarrassment for people to admit that we missed it. So they're going to pretend like it's not happening. And we know these people don't mean us no good. What is the vision of Black Chicago? What do we look like as Black Chicagoans when we not the ADOS capital of the world? You know, I was thinking about, like, when you go to Oakland. When you go to Oakland, you can go to parts of Oakland and it's like they show you the houses and where the Black Panthers started and they was working and, you know, they was doing their thing. But you know what it is? It's a history museum. It's a history museum of when the Black people used to be there. I don't know, guys. I was this CEO. So one of the things that happened, and y'all know, I went to UNO. I was part of the MLI class, and I just never forget being in that class and Juan Rangel and Phil Mullins saying that schools provided the opportunity to organize for power. And I think about how many people have leveraged the schools for power, whether through the union or through CPS. And then I think about, how did we leverage it for power? Because so often we're just happy to be there, but don't necessarily affect the change. So I got to ask, in the last 10 years, how many Black contractors grew at CPS? How many Black people got to have the parties that invite all the big willies where all the contracts get chopped up and spin around? And now, Our black queen is gone from CPS. And now we got to go ask Pedro and Jose. To all these black leaders, think about all the people you haven't helped aggressively. And think about when you're not there and they have to ask your replacement. Because your replacement is probably not going to be black. Think about it. You think about all the top spots. Do you really think that we're electing another black mayor? Do you think after Tony Preckwinkle there's going to be another black county board president? Do you think we'll have another black state's attorney? And you got to ask yourself, if you was on vacation, if all of these people were on our vacation, at the end of the vacation, what are they going to have left? Will we be saying, Dad, we should have did this and we should have did that? You think about how much time we spent on undocumented and how many times it's come out of the mouths of our own people. I'm not tripping on those other people, but what do we have? Like, yo, I'm watching the clock wind down on Black Power in Chicago. Literally. The biggest opponents to black prosperity cannot continue to be black people. Like, if the white boy comes to you and he's able to tell you about how he's going to make $10 million doing it, you got to ask yourself, who are the black people in this? So often we feel comfortable being the cool black person that gets to come to the party instead of saying, let's have a black party. I'm just tired. Like, I don't feel like it has to be this way. I don't feel like I have to go look at these white boys coming to all the parties and they making 5, 7, 10 times the amount of money with me with black people that I know. I think about people I had a member of the Black Caucus the other day. I was trying to connect the member of the Black Caucus with a tremendous opportunity to meet someone and to connect them. And you know what the Black Caucus said? You mean the same Mays Jackson who talked about me? And I said, man, Charlie, where we at for black folks right now? What's our contract percentage? So you gonna check me and the white boys gonna keep getting rich. So y'all gonna, I go to my own people and can't get paid. I gotta go find white folks who say, and you gonna teach me by keeping us poor and being in the hands of white folks. Like, do y'all understand that the whole reason we push the envelope is so that black people can have access? That we can get power? That we can get money? It's not fair to show me white people eating and then tell me I can't eat. And you think about how many times we've had people in the power spots and they can tell you why they can't do something for you as compared to what they can. When I go talk to black folks, they can always tell me no. They can tell me why I can't do what I want to do. Who can tell me yes? Who are the black people in Chicago that can tell you yes? Who? Who can you go to in this city and say, I got a great idea? Like, think about when black folks get mad at you because you don't talk enough about black folks. You know, we have access and opportunity to be in every industry it is. White folks be like, y'all ain't saying nothing, so why I'm going to say something? We got to see it in ourselves. I'm going to tell you, We want to create black millionaires. Y'all, I talk about these sweepstakes machines. I talk about them ad nauseum because I'm watching everybody else make a killing. And and the white folks be like, make your money. We have opportunities to become wealthy, and it's like our own people be blocking us from the wealth. Like you ain't gotta be for me, but don't be in my way. Don't tell me that the same thing that the white boy come up with a new idea and they be like, that's ingenuitive. If it's us, you gonna get me in trouble. Huh? You look at this CPS and you see that the hands of our future, of our children, are gonna be in the hands of Latinos. Will they treat our children the same? Will they have the same care? What do we do in this power dynamic? I don't know, y'all. Sometimes I read these articles, I read these stories, and it's like y'all understand. So the head of city colleges, Latino, right? Control the education, control the minds. Control their education, control their minds. Again, we will be second-class citizens. And it's so funny to me because we be so busy trying to fit in that we cut ourselves out. Yeah, I'm tired, man. It's like, I don't want to have this fight. I want us to heal our ecosystem. I want black people to see black people as kings and queens. It's like they'll fight for SHA'CARRI. It'd be like, get that sister, but won't say a word for the black businessman, the black brother. Lori ain't gave us no diversity. She gave us diversity of Latinos and white folks. She told us that being a citizen makes no difference. Just imagine if you was in Afghanistan with your passport trying to get out and Lori was the boss. So anyway, y'all, this has been the Mace Jackson Show. When I saw the story about the new CEOs, it made me feel a certain kind of way. Like, I have no regrets. I love everybody. But I don't know that a passive black electorate, a passive black business community, or a passive black political class has helped us. And I think we're at a point now where we now got to figure out, how do we wield the sword since we've fallen out of the first spot? We're literally playing three. We're third string now. Remember how I told you it was a totem pole? The top of the totem pole was the white folks, then the Asians, then the Latinos, then us. Well, the Latinos just moved themselves up on the pole. And they're going to use our children as the board. Now, I'm going to tell you, we'll hear all the black and brown, and we'll hear all the resources, but when has it ever worked out for us? We don't look out for us. And when I say we don't look out for us, we always be talking about what we stop from happening. You remember how many times, every time we talk to somebody, they tell us, man, y'all don't know how much stuff we stopped from happening. Well, whatever happened, it hasn't stopped our ice, our glacier from melting. What's the matter? What's the matter, Reese?
Nah, see, that's somebody waited to the last minute to call in.
Let them call. Who is it? Roosevelt, what's up, my brother? I'm going to give you the last words.
Yeah. Hi. It is a pathetic epitaph to go on our tombstone, but the facts are absolutely correct. Where do we go? And based on the scenarios which you've drawn out for you. Okay. Thanks.
You got to turn that radio down in the back.
Okay. Let me do that. It seemed to me that there is no way out of this predicament that we presently found ourselves in. I mean, given that the story is exactly as you have depicted it, and I have personal evidence, it is exactly like you said. Now, that being said, the only alternative we got to start thinking about separating ourselves from so that we might participate in the funds. See, we have been trying to work with the system. The system ain't going to work with us. It's going to do what it's been doing historically. And those black folks that we got there, they're afraid because, and you know the story. But why not? If they got school system, the black school system, the Hispanic school system, and the other school system, let us be responsible for our own. Let our taxes come back to us. Just like the TIF program, we have a TIF educational program in every aspect of our society because integration ain't working, Maze. That's all I can say. And sadly, that is the only solution in the near future or forever for us until we begin to solidify and operate as one and not trying to be a part of something that wants to reject us and use us. Thank you. Unless you want to say something in this spot.
Thank you, Roosevelt. I got to let you go because Reese got to go to his other job. Look, he giving me that look like, man, we supposed to be up out of here. We got to get that. Anyway, y'all. Thank you, Roosevelt, for calling. Thank you for everybody who has tuned in. This is the Maze Jackson Show. We are on every day, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m. We are live on WBGX, 1570 a.m. from 6:30 to 8 o'clock. We want to encourage you all to tune in. It's like I don't even want to I'm not trying to beat up anybody at this point, y'all. I mean, I don't want to say it's over, but it's like we're looking in the mirror talking like tigers and lions when we right now are operating like cats. I am the host of the Maze Jackson Show. Every day asking the same question. What is in it for the black people? For my man, DJ Reese the Ruler, who is on the Wheels of Steel. For Todd, who came to visit us and won't be back for another 2 weeks. For Ruthie Moore, who will be here tomorrow, and always on our thoughts and minds and in our hearts, Miss Sonia Escobar. I am the host of the Maze Jackson Show, asking every single day, what's in it for the black people? And if you don't like it, you can still tell them. Maze said, we out of here. Peace.
Dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. Shout out to Willie Wilson, hope one day you get to send it. We need some different players in the game to handle business. Too many shady characters like Madigan and Blago. But when you really break it down, it's typical Chicago. City full of gangsters, it's what the land was built on. Same streets with hood legends, DNA get spilled on. Carjackers out here lurking, trying to get they steal on. Looking for a block to put them Hellcat wheels on. Let us give bogus appraisals a red line. Car crackers out here getting minimal fair time. And I'm concealed carry, I stay with the pipe. But Illinois gun laws giving minimal rights. Stay up on the swivel, make sure I'm moving tight. Check all of my mirrors when I pull up to the light. Pick my homie up from out of town, man, he caught a flight. He was hella nervous, told him, shorty, this a way of life. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks.